Can everyone hear me all right? Welcome in to the first of our D&D special, Reverie. We are doing a 10-session campaign led by our wonderful DM, Dominic. I'll go ahead and introduce everyone in a second. However, let me say hello to everyone in the chat really quick, starting from the top. Hello, Cole. Hello, Alex Lamia. Hello, Briar Pelt. Hello, Aries. Hello, Blue Roses. Hello, Lady Demista. Hello, Really Bored. What are you doing there? Hello, Zaylee. What are you also doing there? Hello, Hope. Hello, King Chewy. What are you doing there? Hello, SSF Shadow 101. Hello, Small Willie. Welcome in. Let's see. Did I miss anyone? I see a dubious VA. How are you doing? Okay. Before we get any further, let me introduce, starting from the left. I say I'm going to introduce, but they're going to introduce themselves, starting from the left.
Me. Okay. Hi. Yes. I am Ria. Hello. Yes. Hello. How are we? I'm excited for this. It's going to be good. Yeah. First, well, no, actually not first time. Second time, but like first big campaign. So, for streaming. So excited. That's all. So awkward. Help me.
Okay, go dog.
I'll swoop
Next.
in. Yeah, I'll swoop in. Hello, I'm next. Talgona Audio. Super excited to be here. Wow, we're gonna play some D&D. I'm so ready. Yeah, let's get it.
And next.
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Hi. I'm Chirio. I am not a voice actor, but I'm playing D&D with my friends. So yay.
And next.
Hey, it's me, Numpty. Here for some D&D. I've been on Vogue's channel before. You probably know me. If you don't, then nice to meet you.
And next.
What's up, chicken butts? It's me, Zaylee. Oh my god. Anyway. Listen. Okay, I got a question for everyone in chat. Have y'all ever smelled the smell of burnt milk? Type 1 if yes, type 2 if no. That's it for me. Goodbye.
Yeah, no personal story connected
just
to
leave
that at
the
all.
stream.
No context at all.
I'm gonna have to ask you about that later, Zaylee.
Yeah,
and finally, but not least.
Yeah, I have some questions for you, Zaylee, but we will revisit that at a later point. Hello, friends. Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Dominic. I am, much like Chirio, not a voice actor, but a lover of Dungeons and Dragons, and honestly, just a huge D&D nerd. I have been DMing. 2025 will be my 13th year of DMing. And so I am excited, albeit a bit nervous, to take this online. We're trying something very new here for a lot of us, including myself. So hopefully you guys enjoy the world that I've built. I will try to give context and lore, but just know that this campaign is delving into a rich and well-defined world that's almost had 12 years to build. That being said, we are exploring very new horizons here, to a place where none of my normal players have ever been. So if any of you guys are in chat, I hope you enjoy the exploration of Reverie, and I hope you all enjoy taking this journey with us.
Yes. All right, everybody, welcome in. There are a few notes that I have to give before we dive into this. The first is that we will not be talking in voice to chat once the game begins. We need to stay in character. We don't want to break the scene, and we want you to be able to enjoy a story that is crafted by our wonderful Dom. Wonderful Dom. That was a weird sentence to say. Anyway, so you know, we're talking to you guys now. We're talking to you guys now. But once the scene starts, we're going to only interact with you via the side chat. So some of us will be typing to you, and we're not actively in scene. But aside from that, we will not be interacting with chat. So I hope you guys are all right with that, and you will relax and enjoy the show we are putting on for you. Also, a quick thing is that Vagaronis are shut off for that very reason. There will be no redeems, there's no hand cam, there's none of that going on for this kind of thing. Welcome in. Thanks for the dirt. I hope you don't TPK. Good luck, guys. Thank you. I hope so too. It depends how. So apparently on my channel there was a vote that Dom put out this morning, and he got completely wrecked, and now he's feeling very vengeful. So we may all die immediately. We don't know. Speaking of the Discord,
may not be a boss dragon.
Speaking of the Discord, if you feel like joining the community, there is a link below, and Chirio may link it at a certain point. Please have some grace for the mods, as they are all currently in the game. So if we cannot get to everything in a timely manner, please have some patience. Thank you for the bits, Mookie Mook. Alrighty. So we are going to go right into it. Is there anything left that any of you want to say before we dive into it?
The only thing I'll say is that we're going to start you off with a little pre-recorded video of some of the lore to give you guys context in the to exactly a little bit of the world and what's going on. This will just be a small part, but hopefully will serve as a nice introduction so that you guys understand how the world, and to some extent how our heroes, got to where they are right now.
Alrighty. Anything from the fellow cast?
Well, I think we're all very excited, so I'm kind of just happy to jump straight in. I am buzzing,
excited for some
buzzing.
D&D.
Let's kind of keep it
Show
cool. Oh my God.
Please don't kill us. Please.
No, yes, please.
Please don't kill us.
I'm quite attached to the character. So kill them, please.
It's only episode 1.
We shall
Or
see.
do
I
it.
don't
Could be
know.
pretty entertaining.
It could be. Immediately have to remake our
Whole new
characters for
cast.
next stream.
Please,
All
I need
right.
my own character
Actors.
portrait. I don't want to have to do a new one.
I'll
Oh,
be
yes.
Mallory next time.
Can we take a moment
Yeah.
to see how great Dalgona's art is right there? She hand drew
Oh, thank you.
her own
Oh,
character
God.
right there.
Oh
While the
my
rest of us
gosh.
are
Yeah, it was-
cheaters, and scrubs. All right.
Not cheaters.
Hey, I did
Not
some of mine.
cheaters.
Most of mine.
All right. Let's dive right into it. And for this, we're going to go right into the video. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
To the world of Atlas, a realm of boundless wonders and unfathomable mysteries. Long before history's first record, before the rise of mortals, the cosmos churned in unbridled chaos. From the void came the formless ones, gods without shape, drawn to a world wild and untamed. But within that turmoil, they saw the potential for creation. So, they reached into the maelstrom, shaping order from discord, sculpting the foundations of the world itself. And from their divine hands, the originators were born, beings of unfathomable power, the first and most powerful of their creations to grace Atlas. Yet Atlas was no cradle, but a crucible. The world raged with elemental fury, and even the mighty originators struggled against the relentless storms, the shifting sands, and the wrath of stone and fire. Desperate, they turned to their makers, pleading for salvation. And the gods answered. They bestowed upon their children a gift, a fragment of their own celestial power, magic. Empowered, the originators bent the elements to their will, forging civilization from chaos. But Atlas fought back. The elements themselves rose in defiance, forming primordials, behemoths of raw, unshackled power. Yet even these titans could not stand against the magic-infused originators. With divine guidance, the primordials were sealed away, buried in sleepless prisons at the edges of the world. But war is a poison, even for the gods. For the first time, the divine knew strife. The struggle against the primordials had forever altered some among them. Gods who had once been pure, now darkened by conflict. Their forms twisted, their hearts hardened, and from them arose a new pantheon, the Fallen. No longer content with shaping the world, they craved dominion, and their creations rose to serve them, their weapons forged not in the fires of creation, but in blood and ruin. The heavens trembled as war consumed the world. Mountains rose and crumbled, oceans boiled, and the lands of Atlas were shattered and reforged in endless struggle. For an age, the balance teetered on the brink of oblivion. Then came the breaking. It was Tempest, the Warbringer, the Eternal Watcher, who could stand aside no longer. Hefting his mighty hammer, he cast judgment upon the fallen, breaking the world one final time. In his wake, the war ended. The fallen were cast beyond the edges of the cosmos, their followers driven into exile in the distant west. Yet the gods knew such a conflict could never be waged again. They sealed their divine power behind the celestial gate, locking themselves away, never to directly interfere in the world of mortals again. And thus, their creations flourished. Elves, dwarves, humans, and countless others, descendants of gods and titans, intermingled, building civilizations that stretched across the world. It was a golden age, a time of wonders both arcane and technological. Cities soared into the sky, disease was conquered, and the world knew an age of peace that would come to be called the Age of Apotheosis. But peace, my friends, was not to last. From the darkness beyond the cosmos, the fallen watched hungrily. And in the far west, their exiled creation still remembered their dark gods. In the ruined lands of their exile, they built a city in their name, Harat Shan, and pled for power. And though the gods themselves could not set foot upon the world, a piece of their power still could. Thus, the first avatar was born. Dracul, chosen of Vecna and Shar, a warlord infused with 2 slivers of divine power, perhaps the most powerful mortal to ever live. Against him, even the mightiest arcanists, the most brilliant technologists, the strongest scions, none could stand against him. In mere years, the wonders of the Apotheosis crumbled, civilization fell into ruin, and the world was plunged into an age of darkness as the forces of the fallen flooded from the Nightlands. The Avatar Wars had begun. Across Atlas, mortals pleaded with the gods they had long abandoned, and champions arose, avatars of the prime deities to stand against the darkness, each infused with a single spark of divine power. So too did the rest of the fallen choose a single mortal to imbue with a spark of their divine power, and thus was the world plunged once again into chaos. For 400 years, the world burned, until, at last, only 4 avatars remained, the others fallen, their spark of divinity forever extinguished. On the plains of Abyssine, the final battle was fought. Dracul, Lord of the End, and Hor, the Doombringer, clashed with Toth, the Glyphward, and Erevan, the Wanderer. When the dust settled, the great forest that once stood there was no more, reduced to an endless wasteland. And of the avatars, there was no trace. The Fallen were defeated once again, their followers driven back into the Nightlands, sealed away by the strongest magic mortals could muster. So it has been for the last nearly 1,000 years, where the world has known fragile peace. In the Umbral era, empires have risen, borders have been drawn, and power has been consolidated among those who remain. In the west, the Imperator of the Novum Imperium and the Yarm Vanesh of Gordrenas wage war for dominance over the continent of Othard. But not all would live under imperial rule. Some fled south, where the small outpost of Tel Viera grew into a bustling city of merchants, where gold and wine flow like water. Others sought refuge in Osra, where cultures merged and new nations were born. Some took to the ocean, carving out lives as freebooters and corsairs, forming the legendary pirate city of Reverie. Fewer still braved the Far East, where civilizations have stood since time immemorial. Some ventured into Abyssine, the land once ruled by the Jinn, forever marked by their presence. Others found their way to Ilsbard, the savage northeast, where the sunset city of Aurora stands as a beacon against the frozen darkness. While nations may claim dominion over land on a map, much of Atlas has been reclaimed by the wilds, where ruins of past ages lie buried beneath jungle and desert alike. Ancient beasts prowl forgotten roads, lost magics slumber beneath crumbling stones, and secrets long thought buried whisper from the depths. In the shadow of civilization, danger lurks, waiting for those bold or foolish enough to seek it. And so, our story begins in the year 956 of the Umbral Era. Spring has come to Atlas, shaking the world from its winter slumber. A season of renewal, of hope, of new beginnings. For many, it is a time of joy and prosperity, but not for our so-called heroes. Exiles, runaways, pirates. A band of misfits bound not by loyalty, but by chains. Aboard the Malefica, captained by Lucius Veritor, they are not passengers. They are prisoners of the Novum Principate. Branded criminals, though most have committed no true crime, at least not recently. Some trusted the wrong people. Others simply had the misfortune of standing in the way of power. And now, fate has brought them here, together. A hero's tale would speak of righteous warriors, of shining steel raised against oppression, of hands outstretched to lift the weary and downtrodden. But if you seek such a tale, I suggest you look elsewhere. This is not a tale of virtue. This is a tale of the selfish, the damned, the ones who never thought themselves capable of heroism. And yet, against all odds, they will be forced to do the one thing they swore they never would: save the world. My friends, and with that, we finally descend to meet our heroes. As our view descends beneath the Malefica, a ship currently docked in the Rao Ocean, not too far off the coast of the Novum Principate. Our view descends down into the hold, where the air grows thick and soupy. Heavy with the scent of damp wood, rusted iron, and the unmistakable stench of bodies too long unwashed. The lantern light flickers weakly against the wooden beams, casting long, distorted shadows across the space. The ceiling is low, and the oppressive heat of the ship settles in, making the air stifling and thick. Rows of iron-barred cages run the length of the hold, bolted directly into the ship's wooden frame. The bars are thick, though pitted with rust in places, their once blackened iron worn smooth from countless hands gripping them in desperation. Some cages are large enough to hold several prisoners at once, while others are small, barely big enough to hold a single person sitting upright. Chains dangle from the ceiling and walls, some meant for restraint, others remnants of past suffering. The deck here is stained, the wood darkened by years of blood, sweat, and brine. A few foul-smelling buckets are placed at intervals, crude latrines that do little to mask the reek of human confinement. The only fresh air comes from a few small, grated portholes set high up in the ship's hull above the waterline, letting in the distant sound of waves lapping against the ship. Near the entrance, a heavy wooden table stands against the bulkhead, its surface scarred by deep knife gouges. The cages are mostly empty, save for 4 interesting characters in the depths near the bulkhead. Starting with Caldwell, why don't the 3 of you go ahead and describe the characters that they would see in these cages aboard the Malefica?
My character's name is Caldwell Sutherland. He is usually well groomed, with a amazing curled mustache that is much not a signifier of anything at all. He has a large hat that is somewhat scuffed at the moment, kind of drooping as his overall attire seems a bit more scuffed than usual. He is wearing a navy blue doubloon, and that too seems quite ragged at the moment. It doesn't seem like he's suited for this kind of life, but at the same time, he seems comfortable where he is, sitting in the corner against the bars with his legs sprawled out, absent-mindedly playing with the dirt under his fingernails, looking at his surroundings and taking it all in, as if there isn't a care in the world.
And sharing a cage with him, we see our second hero, Thyra.
My character is named Thyra Dunere. She is a tall woman, standing at 6'3", with a lean, battle-hardened build and short, fiery red hair that frames a pair of curved horns, scuffed by past victories. Her green eyes sparkle with a hint of quiet confidence. You'll notice a few scars and swirling tattoos etched into her suntanned skin, proof of plenty of time in battle. She wears a mixture of dyed black and brown leather, cut for freedom of movement. A studded leather halter top covers her chest, leaving a gap between the shirt and her shorts to reveal her toned stomach, rippling with muscles. Going down her meaty legs, she seems to have fashioned calf guards, or something close to that. They appear to have been tall leather boots once, now with the bottom of the shoe completely torn off and a makeshift strap fastened around the digitigrade foot. Oh, hoof, actually. Even standing still, or sitting in this case, her hooved feet and tail seem ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. Her large cow-like ears flinching from time to time, with a sense of alertness. There's an undeniable energy about her, although she appears to be gently smiling, perhaps a courteous and respectful to those who pay her any attention. She feels like the calm before a storm, just waiting to break. Always just one push away from unleashing her full force.
Very well. Across from them, in their own cell, we see the 3rd member of our brigade of misfits and exiles, Mortarian.
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 Empty.
All right.
Oh, sorry, my mic wasn't working. My apologies.
All good, all good. Why don't you go ahead and describe to the audience what they would see in that cage?
I am Mortarian. I am somewhat oblivious to the ways of the world, but you don't need to know about that. I am tall, I have white hair, I'm very pale and covered in tattoos that sometimes move and sometimes do not. I definitely stand out in a crowd, though typically I'm unaware of this. I'm quite naturally muscled from my years of work. My clothes are functional and made of leather and cloth like anyone else. The things that stand out on me, however, are my vibrant yellow eye, my one white and one black feathery protrusion that stick out of the top of my head, and of course, the two large black wings that wrap around me like a cloak. I've been told I look quite intimidating, but trust me, I'm a nice guy.
And with our three heroes, there is a fourth figure. One that is familiar to them, although new to all of you. You see in the fourth cage in the room a sturdy, weathered dwarf with a broad, muscular frame built for the rigors of life at sea. His skin is tanned and rough, marked by years of exposure to salt and wind. A faint scar runs across his left cheek and nose, adding a rugged appearance to his sharp, angular features. His storm gray eyes are intense and observe the world around him with a certain weathered curiosity, framed by thick eyebrows that give his gaze a naturally stern expression. His beard, generally thick and well kept, is feeling the days of captivity you all have been through. No longer braided into the three sections it originally was. You see streaks of silver thread through the dark brown of his beard and hair, the later pulled back into a single braid that normally falls neatly down his back. He had a fine coat that has been taken from him, as well as a number of fine navigational instruments that the three of you saw him use when he was navigator aboard the Stella, before the events that led you here. He has since become your companion in captivity, in the weeks since your capture by Lucius Veritor and the rest of the Malefica. And so, having met at least the beginning of our cast of heroes, we now find you all. The ship, mostly stilled, seemingly dropped anchor for the first time in weeks. A slight change to the drudgery of the day-to-day of your captivity.
Okay. Thyra is like tapping her foot against the end of the cage, like a ting 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 sort of ringing around out against the like her harder puff. Oh, Coldwell. Why'd you try and do that, huh? You thought you could bargain with him?
Oh, shut up. Please stop tapping your foot. I'm trying to sleep here. Terrible, terrible manners. Did you think you could do better? Were you going to swing your giant axe at his face and get punched through a fucking arrows? Please, just
I
leave
might be
me
in
in
a
peace.
place now. If I did do that, God, why do I need to be put in a cage with you? Mortarian, how are you hanging in there?
I'm enjoying this cage. It is nice. At least, well,
Oh,
since I am by myself.
boy, we should try and find a way out of here. This is insane. Uh,
Ain't
Oh,
no
no.
real point trying to escape until we know a little something more about what's going on. A ship of this size gotta have 12, 13 crew members. As strong as y'all look, I doubt 4 of us could put up enough of a fight to take over the ship, let alone sail it back to land.
For
I'd
once.
like to let you know that I can't sail. I could probably take over the ship, but it wouldn't go far in my hands.
For once, I actually agree with the dwarf. While I imagine the big, strong Minotaur woman might be able to bend these bars, I don't think we would get very far before being poked through of holes with crossbow bolts. We should just relax, save your energy. This is just a ride. Enjoy the smells and the sights while you're at it. Why don't you?
Well,
Alright, where though? We
yeah.
have no idea where we're going.
I mean, as much as I appreciate your chuckle fuck opinions, Caldwell, leave the thinking of those with maybe more brains than you. There ain't no fucking sights to see here. And as for where we're bound, well, Principate slavers really only take you one or two places. I bet by now we've made our way across the Ryle Ocean, probably near the shore of the Principate. Who knows? Could be headed for the salt mines, the fields, or perhaps even a darker fate. I know the Principate pays good coin for those of sturdy body.
Oh, then you will do just well fitting in, won't you, dwarf? Me, on the other hand, perhaps something a little more cushy.
Yeah, I don't think they take requests, Caldwell. I think it's more of a capital punishment for some sort of crime. Who knows what they'll paint us with? In your case, maybe being a fucking dick. The rest of us, who knows what we did wrong? They'll probably make something up.
That's what it
Is
is.
this
Trudge all your life. What is that,
is this
Mortarian?
being a dick a traditional crime in most places?
I don't know,
Well,
Garrick.
I'm
Why
not
don't you tell him?
familiar with these laws.
you know, it's not really a crime. It's more of a personality flaw young Caldwell has come unto. I don't think it's curable. Sort of think of it like a disease, like a venereal disease. You know, you catch it, and once you
It's
got
not-
it, you can't quite get rid of it.
It's not contagious, is it?
Well, you know, Mortarian, that's interesting. If you listen to his bullshit too much, you might find yourself spouting it yourself.
Well, Mortarian has no issue with the way I do things, do you, my boy?
Well, I mean, as long as
For
you're not
nothing,
going to
haven't I?
infect me.
Oh, well, you'll be just fine. Ignore Garrick and his bullshit. He's just spouting off because he's an angry old fuck.
Well,
Right.
I don't think this is really productive, but I mean, look, despite the fact I may not be as fond of Caldwell as I could be, the reality is, even if we take over this here ship, we gonna need a crew to get her to land, and ain't too many ports that gonna take over a captured Principate slaver. So, let's at least make a conditional amount of peace between the four of us. I don't know much about Caldwell, but he seems like he knows a right line from a bilge, and that at least makes him valuable, despite his repugnant personality at this moment.
I'll be just fine. Just worry about yourself, why don't you? Now, if you don't mind, I'm just going to pull down my cap and try to get some shut-eye. And listen. Wait and listen. A little patience goes a long way. That's especially meant for you, Minotaur.
Got it. Okay. I would like to. What can we see just in front of us, like peering out?
Yeah.
Do
So
we see? I don't think we see any of the cages, right?
yeah, so there are a number of cages. Think of them very similar to like prison cells, except four walled, heavy, although flaked iron cages bolted to the ceiling and floor, which are wood.
Mhm.
Looking around, I mean, there are a number more cells in here that are not filled yet. Even yourself, Thyra, as unfortunate as it was that you were put together with Caldwell, there is a significant amount of room in here. There's probably enough to fit anywhere from 10 to 12 more people with some level of comfort, maybe double that with a significant less level of comfort.
Mhm.
Um, Beyond
Mhm.
that, there's a heavy wooden table sort of near the only door in and out. You can tell by the bobbing of the ship that, once again, you are clearly on a ship that is on the ocean. As the floor below you moves and bobs, there is a heavy barred iron reinforced door that is the only obvious exit to the room besides the grated portholes that let a weak light in.
Mhm. And there's no like guards in here or anyone like watching us.
No guards in here. You have at the time you've been here seen a number of the members of the crew. It seems like the Malefica and Lucius Veritor keep a relatively small crew. No more than 10 people you've seen on this ship, including when you were captured, um, including Lucius and the individual you come to know as his first mate, Dragon Slade. Seems to be a small crew. They come in, they feed you, no guards, although you do occasionally, in bouts of silence, hear sounds from the room beyond. As you were dragged down here, you know that this door leads out into a larger underdeck. Where the crew has sleeping chambers, and there is like a small area for the crew to eat and for meals to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
But no obvious keys, no bright shiny glints laying around your cell that might indicate like a lock picking tool or really any obvious way out of here at this moment. And you've had weeks to get acquainted with this area, and you've already exhausted most of the obvious methods of escape. However, as you focus in, Thyra, at this moment, um, the four of you hear some sort of commotion going up on the deck above you. You hear the scraping of feet. You hear the um, low voice of Lucius Veritor, the gravelly voice calling out. Something is clearly going on, and the ship does not typically stop at anchor for any significant amount of time. Well, which you have been for about the last 6 or 7 hours.
That's really odd. Maybe someone's come to save us.
Wishful thinking. If anything, we're about to have some more bunkmates.
I thought
Save
you
us.
said you were sleeping.
Ugh, it's hard to sleep with such a racket about. But I'll most certainly try.
At this point,
What?
the three of you hear the hatch open to the under part of the ship, and you can hear the clinking of chains hitting against wood, as it seems like potentially Caldwell was right, and more prisoners are coming to join you. Is there, as you all hear this, is there anything you wish to do to prepare, any actions you want to take as this sort of unusual event is occurring?
How? You said there was a small ceiling. How small is the ceiling?
The ceiling is small in terms that it's relatively low because you are under ship. I would say, hands outstretched, you could probably touch the low ceiling of the underdeck.
Oh, goody. Okay, so
Um,
I'm gonna jump to my feet and my horns instantly jam into the floorboards above.
Yeah, easy
can
enough.
I
You are likely not well adjusted to the height here. Go ahead, Kola.
can I take a saving throw to have fallen asleep throughout this racket?
Sure, go ahead and make me a wisdom or constitution saving throw. Wisdom if you're
Constitution
bored,
saving.
constitution if you're just sleepy.
Constitution.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
15.
Okay. God, these people are fucking boring. But you haven't quite managed to fall asleep. There's like there's no place to really get comfortable in the cell. There's no like pillow to rest your head on, and you know the sheep are beginning to count for you, but you're not quite asleep yet. You managed to stave it off. Um, okay. At this point, the far door opens, uh, and you see none other than the captain of the Malefica, Lucius Veritor, and a number of his crew members, 3 in total, leading 2 figures in, bound by chains. Um, Whispers, why don't you go ahead and describe the first figure they see appearing through the door?
All right. So, out of the corner of your eye, you catch a glimpse of pure white smoke. As you turn to look, you are greeted with the sight of a willowy young woman, no more than 20 years of age, standing with perfect posture, shoulders square, neck elongated, and her feet crossed at a rather extreme angle. She would otherwise be an unremarkable girl, passably pretty with large royal blue eyes and the lingering traces of baby fat still clinging to her cheeks, excepting the fact that her skin is a color akin to an overcast day, pale gray with hints of blue and purple as she flushes from the attention. What you previously thought was smoke is instead something like hair, pulled back into a tight braid at the nape of her neck, golden ribbons vainly attempting to contain the thin wisps that snake off and trail into the air. It appears to move faintly, although there's no breeze, you're below deck. Um, Her clothing is of fine make. It's a little worn, with a golden corset bound tightly over a voluminous powder blue dancer's outfit. In contrast to the lightness of the overall appearance, she wears these heavy metal bangles on both wrists and her ankles, apart from the shackles that she has been bound in, as though she's trying to weigh herself to the ground in the event that she were to float away. She looks pretty indignant right now, though she's not happy.
Yeah. And following her, Alarie, why don't you go ahead and describe your character?
All right. My character, Laurie Zilfina, is a high elf with raven black hair that flows down her shoulders, though it is a little bit more unruly right now. Standing at 5'4", her golden eyes gleam in the light. She wears a sleek charcoal outfit with silver accents and a white blouse visible beneath, paired with a dark cloak that drapes down to her knees, hiding all sorts of tools and daggers. She wears a pair of leather boots that speaks of long travels due to how they're peeling around the edges. With her nimble, lightweight build, she's ready to spring in action at any time's notice, though she is very pissed off right now.
All right. As both of these individuals are led in by Lucius, they are brought to the nearby table where he begins to roughly search them for any hidden weapons. Um, Melody, would he find any weapons on you besides the obvious?
No. No, definitely not.
Okay. However, Alari, as he searches you, I'm sure he finds a variety of hidden weapons squirreled all over you.
Got any to your liking?
You're not really my type. Too scrawny.
Oh, I
Uh,
wasn't talking about that. I was talking
How
about
dare
my
you? She's
character.
gorgeous. Look at her.
yeah. You two might be more fucking trouble than you're worth. Just
Maybe you should let us go now before you regret it.
Yes, exactly.
and after all the trouble we went through to capture you,
We
I
shouldn't have
think
fun.
not. He goes through and one by one he picks out a surprising amount of daggers from under Alarie's cloak, and his hands are none too gentle, but you know, to at least to an extent proper as he pats you down. Eventually ending up with a pile of daggers piled high on the table, um, leading you over far away from the rest to a larger cell. He opens it before shoving the 2 of you inside, locking it behind you with a heavy iron key he takes from a keyring on his belt. He walks over the table, grabbing a chair, dragging it towards the rest of you before sitting down in it, looking over at you, and says, Well, I've brought you some new friends to join you. It would be proper at this moment to say thank you for providing you some company down here.
Thank you for providing us some company down here.
Oh, shut up, Mortarian.
You don't have to
Please.
listen to him. I would actually advise you don't listen.
Well,
So,
little. What was your name again, Mr. Captain, sir?
my name is not so important for one such as you, but those who are not prisoners call me Lucius. Lucius
right.
Veritor of the Novum Principate. Captain of the
Lucian.
Malefica.
Well, I see. You've managed to take a high elf and a genasi. Quite high prizes indeed. Do you know who to barter with? I could definitely put you in contact with some people that would fetch them for high prices, much more high than the Novum Principate would pay for.
Tempting, but a word of a prisoner cannot be trusted. Besides, I have a quota to fill. I'm sure I'll get
Shame.
extra gold for these two. They put up quite the fight, unlike the three of you.
Well,
Mm.
one day that may change, just you see.
Would be more of a fight if we didn't have crossbows aimed at our heads.
Yes, and don't expect me to stop fighting now. You might have my weapon, but I have other things.
Well, this fight, this joie de vivre, as it were, will certainly serve you well in the Venter salt mines, where you'll serve out your sentence as criminals. 10 years of hard labor, and then, if you survive, be released back into the world, having served your sentence to the Principate.
Please. Is there anyone who actually believes that?
Serves you.
Not
Do I look like a good little soldier to you?
Oh, you 5, 6, however many of you there are, look like people who won't be missed, which is the most important thing. You've all committed grave crimes. I haven't quite decided which ones yet, but I'll think of something suitably lurid to make sure you never emerge from the mines alive to seek vengeance. This is not my first rodeo.
All right then.
Thyra,
Be on your way. You've become boring, and I bore of you.
Thyra moves up a little bit, just forward. She's unlocked her once by now, with a kind of like, she hangs on the the cell, kind of like wall. You think we're going to go quietly? You're fucking wrong. I won't go out without a fight.
That's right. Keep that fight in you. The spirited ones always fetch a little more for me. And you, Caldwell, don't think that you can just speak whatever you wish. Cross me, and there'll be punishments in places they'll never see. I'll leave your
Is that a
face unmarked,
promise?
but he sort of looks at you, and you watch as he reaches down to his belt and takes out a small, long flintlock pistol and lays it on the table and says, "It is."
Dangerous. Unfortunately, you're not my type. So sorry.
Well, there'll be plenty of time to teach you manners before we get to the mines. Why don't you all get acquainted? Perhaps have some small moments of solace with each other. We're just mere days away from the mines, so I hope you enjoy your last days of relative freedom. Stay healthy, make sure you're eating. Strong slaves fetch more than weak, pathetic things. He gets up, sort of kicking the chair to the side, sheathes the flintlock into his belt, with a single look back at you, and sort of a devil-may-care smile, exits the room, closing the door behind him.
Oh, what a dick. Oh, what a dick. I hate him so much. Oh my god. Oh. He's just
Seriously,
like
has he
pacing
ever
back
heard
and
of
forth.
soap or shower? He stinks.
He does.
Um,
He smells so bad.
a moment, if you will. I realize that our dear captain/captor, or whatever he may be, said 6 by accident. I count 2 of you. Is there another one that came with you?
I don't know. They took her. She's somewhere else. We have a bird.
Can you describe this
Bird.
bird?
I don't know. Big red. Talks surprisingly well, actually. Like clear sentences, clear
Pretty
intelligence.
eloquent.
A
That's true.
talking bird. A red macaw?
Sure. It's a
All right,
big red
then.
bird.
I have no further questions. Thank you for answering. Can I roll to sleep again?
Sure. Go ahead and roll a d20.
I look at him like this guy sucks too.
I rolled a 5, but it was a crypt one.
Yeah. Caldwell literally dismisses you and immediately falls asleep.
What did you mean by that? I like tried like shake him a little bit. There's no way of waking him up probably.
You're not sure if he's actually sleeping or if he's just doing that thing where he like pretends to be asleep to ignore you. But either way, he is apparently passed out.
Caldwell. All right. At least there seems to be some like-minded people with him out of the way. Did you guys see anything? We've been in here for I don't even know how long.
At least a week.
I mean, we were by the I don't even know the Principate. We were by the Principate, and we went to this island, and there was, I don't know, a temple and some weird, messed up, like spider thing.
Oh, yes.
And then
the
they pulled
spider.
us onto the ship and got us. I hated that spider. God, I hated that spider.
It was pretty charming, I'd say.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
guys-
yes, because you got to kill it.
Yeah. You guys can see both Whisper and Alarie sport a number of wounds, including what look like small burn marks. Healing wounds that look relatively recently taken, although at this point, well on their way to healing.
We came across something similar, didn't we? I looked through
Yes.
Mortarian.
Yes, it was a very large plant that appeared to be very hungry.
Great.
You don't-
Great. Love that I know that that thing exists.
Well,
I would
it
like to
doesn't
meet this.
exist anymore. It's dead.
Oh, so you killed it.
Oh,
Well,
This,
he killed it. And I point over at Caldwell.
That
This-
one? Really?
the one with the mustache.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
This may be a bit of a far-fetched question, but I feel like it needs to be asked. Do any of y'all have a key?
Well, we don't have a key, but I can get us out of here. However, the main question here is what will we do after we escape?
Well, I already said that I can't steer.
Well, I mean, Caldwell does have the fancy attire, though we haven't really talked to him about that stuff. He He seems like he could man a ship. If he's not sleeping.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna take more than one person to sail this here ship. I didn't get too much of a good look at it. It appears to be a two-masted frigate. I think we're looking at a crew from anywhere from 5 to 10 bare bones. That's just manning the right lines and doing basic ship things. We're not even gonna sail with any real speed there. But in summation, even if we take over this ship, we gonna need everyone to go ahead and steer this shit. I mean,
Well,
I could teach y'all a little bit of sailing. Y'all look green as landlubbers, but maybe I can teach you a thing or two. Enough that we don't capsize the first storm that comes through.
We've already done that once.
Yeah, I
Oh,
very
good.
clearly remember that. And the Stella had a good crew who knew what the fuck they were doing and not a bunch of green ass landlubbers like yourselves. So we got a bit of an uphill battle, but let's be honest, the first thing we gotta do is get out of these here cages.
Yes. You're saying many words, and I don't know what any of them mean, but I am all for the getting out of the cages.
Well, wake up mustache over there, and we shall get going.
Mustache.
They took your weapons though, right? Oh, Gordor, you awake?
Oh,
Apparently. I do have a name. My name is Codwell. It is a pleasure to be meeting our two new companions, who have not shared the same courtesy with us. What is your name, air spirit thing?
Spivet thing? Excuse you? I'm called Whisper.
Whisper. So, if a wind blows, you'll disappear forever.
Hasn't happened yet, and I don't intend it to.
Alright. And you, little tiny brooding elf?
Ah, pleasure to meet you, mustache. My name's Alarie.
I have a name, little elf.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Okay, you said you wanted to get out of here. Do you have a way?
As a matter of fact, I do. Alarie flips her wrist, and a dagger manifests in the air. I could use this to lockpick.
Oh,
I
psionic
like that.
daggers, huh? Some psychic powers right there.
Ah, well, you know. Alrighty, well, are y'all ready to get out of here?
By all
Extremely.
means.
Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. Like, Whisper's like bouncing up and down. She's like, oh my god.
So, Alarie, you know that you can certainly try to pick the lock with the psionic dagger you've made. It is going to be far from easy. A dagger, unfortunately, even one made of psionic energy, is not really custom made to pick a lock. You can certainly try, but it's going to take you at least some time to do it. So why don't you go ahead and roll me a lock picking check at disadvantage, considering you're not using lock picking tools, and without adding the proficiency that you would get from the lock picking kit you normally take. As this is happening, elsewhere on the ship, we are going to meet the last of our heroes, Scarlet. While Whisper and Alarie were dragged down into the hold, you were instead very unceremoniously pushed into a small, cramped, kind of dented cage of brass by Dragon Slade, the first mate of the Malefica that led you into this hellhole in the first place. He brings you down, and you see Whisper and Alarie disappear through a door where he leads you a different way. Through a kitchen filled with a number of spices, herbs, and fruits and vegetables, past a number of curtains to not a large chamber, but something that begins to fill you with a bit of uneasiness and fear. As you find, tucked away at the far end of the crew's sleeping quarters, separated by a faded, moth-eaten curtain, a cramped and cluttered domain. Unlike the rest of the crew's portion of the hold, which is filled with tightly packed hammocks and rough bedrolls, the space is markedly different. The smell hits you first, a mixture of stale alcohol, old sweat, and something distinctly organic. The floorboards are littered with empty bottles, some rolling in the ship's sway, others kicked into corners where they gather like forgotten relics. Half-rotten wooden crates serve as makeshift furniture, their contents spilling out. Worn maps, rusty daggers, and trinkets of dubious value. A rickety hammock sags between two beams, its canvas stretched, and smelling like rum. But what truly sets these quarters apart is a gruesome collection that lines the walls and shelves. A veritable menagerie of poorly executed taxidermy. Glass-eyed rodents, their fur patchy and misshapen, perch awkwardly on wooden crates. A massive fish head, its teeth barred in an unnatural snarl, rests atop an overturned barrel. And in the farthest corner, popped against a rusted lantern, sits a monkey skull, its hollow socket staring out over the chaos. You see tacked to the walls parchment filled with crude sketches of animals, some real, some imagined, stained with ink and grease. As Dragon puts the cage down, he leans down to you and says, "Oh, you'll make a lovely addition to my collection. Such beautiful feathers you have. Now speak to me, little bird, like you spoke above."
So in this cage, there's a scarlet macaw. She's primarily red, but she has yellow and blue wings. And the curious thing about her is she has a floral necklace on that seems to be held together by bones. And at the bottom of it is a religious symbol carved out of a bone. And she is pissed. So, sitting in this cage, my feathers are all puffed out, and I'm glaring at Dragon.
Yeah. And as Dragon sort of leans over, you can tell he's just fascinated by you as his long sort of fingers stretch through the cage. And though you've seen Dragon before in a different context, for our listeners, I'll go ahead and describe him. He's a wiry health elf man with sharp angular features and a sort of disarming, although kind of skeevy smirk. His sun-weathered skin is lightly tanned and freckled, with shaggy dark hair falling in uneven layers around slightly pointed ears, um, showing his half-elf heritage. He's got a scruffy, unkempt beard that frames a crooked nose. Looks like it's been broken before. He wears a battered tricorn hat, paired with patched-up leather coat and a faded linen shirt. A tattered red scarf hangs loosely from his neck, and his scuffed boots clink faintly with stray bits of metal buckling. He has, and rests his hand on a well-kept small dagger on his belt, and a frayed rope bracelet on his wrist. As he sort of leans over you with a smile, you can smell the rum and tobacco on his breath.
Knowing that he wants me to speak, I don't, so I stay puffed up, and I just walk and glare at him through the cage bars.
Come now, speak for me, little one. And he sort of takes a finger and like pokes it through the cage at you.
I don't do it. I'm just glaring.
I said speak, he pokes you again.
Mm, Guac. That's it. That's all he's getting from me.
You watch as he slowly pulls out the dagger from his belt, holding it threateningly in his hand, and then slams the hilt against the cage, rattling it under you. I said, speak!
Mm, at that point, I would probably. What would be the best role to see if I am not intimidated?
Go ahead and make a wisdom or charisma save.
Okay. I made a wisdom save of 19.
Okay. Despite what he's doing, you can tell reading into his intent and looking around the room that he is not likely to damage what could be a valuable addition to his collection. So you don't feel a ton of immediate fear from him.
Okay. So yeah, my feathers puff out even more, but I just glare.
You see the anger in his eyes as he raises the dagger again, and you hear a sharp voice that you recognize as Lucia saying, Dragon, enough. We have business on deck. We must plot the course. Get out of here as soon as possible. It's not safe for us to be so close to Principate shores, while we have such flimsy evidence on the wrongdoings of these prisoners. Leave the bird for now. We'll have time for it later. Dragon looks back at you, sort of for a moment, then sheaths the dagger, turning around and pushing the curtain to the side as he walks out. You hear footsteps recede into the distance, leaving you alone in this menagerie of horror.
I, at this point, am pissed. So, the moment that. Actually, do I hear anything? Like, is there any movement or sound coming from the other side of the curtains?
Go ahead and make a perception check. And as we're doing this, Alarie, what was your lock-picking check to potentially get out?
The one with my roll with disadvantage was 23.
With disadvantage was 23. Okay. All right. Um, in the um, in the jail, as this is all going on, as Lucius has just recently left, as we're sort of merging timelines here, um, Alarie very deftly goes ahead and with the glowing pink and purple energy dagger she has created, deftly picks the lock on her cage, releasing herself. As she sort of pushes the cage open and steps out, the rest of you are a little bit shocked at how quickly she did that, as it took just a minute or two.
Whisper's like, you are the coolest. Oh my god. You are the coolest. I can't stand it. Oh my god.
Do you always
Unfortunately.
talk like that?
What, me? It's fun. Don't you like to have fun?
Yeah. There's a time and place, though. Time and place. I like to be flamboyant at times, but this isn't. Our dwellings are a certain type of way, shall we say?
First sensible thing you've said. All right.
So now Alarie and Whisper have exited the cage. However, the rest of you are still looking on from behind bars having this conversation. Alarie, do you wish to attempt to free the rest of them?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and make one more lockpicking check with disadvantage, and we'll go ahead and say now that you've gotten yourself out. Actually, now that you've gotten yourself out, you kind of have a general understanding of the lock. Just go ahead and make this a straight roll, albeit only with your psychic daggers. And as we do that, we're gonna flip back to Scarlet, who is left alone in Dragon's chambers.
So I rolled an 8 on perception.
Okay. You listen closely, and there are a number of sounds. There are the creaking of the boards underneath you, the sounds of footsteps occasionally above, but you don't hear anything else immediately near you.
So, all right. I have. If I don't hear anything near me, I'm gonna try to get out of this cage.
Okay. Go ahead and just make a dexterity check. This is a relatively low check because this cage is meant to hold a normal bird, which I think we can all agree you clearly are not.
I am not a normal bird. I rolled 17 as my
Okay.
dexterity.
Easily enough, your you if anyone was watching, they would see a very unbird-like behavior as the bird sort of shakes and then reaches out a clawed foot with surprising dexterity to deftly pull the pin and push open the cage. Um, Alarie, back with the rest of our heroes, what did you roll to get everyone else out, just so I know about timelines to get them out?
I rolled an 18.
Okay. It'll take a couple of minutes, but you do manage one by one to free them. As this is going on, we're going to dip back to Scarlet, who has much more quickly freed herself from her relatively more uh, easily escaped imprisonment. So, Scarlet, as you push open the door and you hop down a little bit, you find yourself in the room I described. You see it's separated from the rest of the ship by a sort of moth-worn brown linen curtain that is pulled mostly across.
Oh, burp, 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 burp. Mission impossible. So what I'm gonna do, there is gonna be a flash of amber color magic with scarlet and green accents throughout it. And I'm going to turn into a brown slash black rat.
Okay.
Um,
Nobody.
on the wall, while that little flash happened, you can see a small figure with wings. Or a shadow of a small figure with wings.
Yeah. Luckily, nobody can see. And as the change happens, in the place of the large red bird, there is now sort of a normal looking rat. Um, not maybe a common sight on a ship, but far less concerning than a large red bird.
Do
Um, Go ahead.
do I remember the way back to where they were taking Whisper and Alarie?
You certainly do. As you go and move that way, are you interested in moving stealthily, or are you just trying to blend in, like to your natural environment of the ship, or are you attempting true stealth?
I I think I would stealth. I'm
Okay,
gonna try to be stealthy about it.
go ahead and make a stealth check. As this is happening and this rat is creeping around elsewhere on the ship, Alarie finishes freeing the rest of the group, including Garrick, who says very gruff, "Well, thank you. I appreciate the freeing of me. I guess
My
this
pleasure.
means we're aligned in our desire to not serve the rest of our lives in a Principate mine."
I mean, look at me.
Refuse.
Do you think I'd really survive that long? I mean, honestly.
I mean, I'm not one to judge a book by its cover, but
I'm a very thin book. I'm a picture book.
you're certainly lacking a certain thickness. But maybe it'd be good in the mines, you know. Uh, but look, I just if we're gonna do this, we gotta arm ourselves. We don't really stand much of a chance like we are. No weapons, no armor. Things they took from us, the things they took from you, they gotta be somewhere on this ship.
Agreed. I've got other things for weapons, horns, for example, but I'm no good without my axe.
Well, I
Well,
don't know
all right.
layups of ships, but I can maybe do distractions.
And how would you distract?
I think when Caldwell asks that, I'll just do a real quick bright sparks, which is verbal and no. I can What can I do? I can do mage hand, which is verbal and somatic. It doesn't have material, I don't think. And
Yeah.
so yeah, just summons like a quick mage hand. Um,
And
I can do
what
quite a
does
lot of
this mage
mischief.
hand
Yes.
look like? Yeah. So
I
anything
yeah.
anything verbal and somatic. Unfortunately, your material components were taken away from you. For those of you who don't know D&D, verbal is the speaking of a spell. Somatic is sort of hand gestures that have to go along with it, and then material is a certain material you need to use to actually activate the spell. So your component pouch / focus was taken, but you still have some innate spellcasting from verbal and somatic.
Yes. Yes. So I think the way that looks for Whisper is she like does a little like wave of her hand, and then like as it trails through the air, like this like ghostly smoke like image of her hand separates and is like left behind, and is like floating in the air. And it kind of like has this like pale like wispiness to it, as though it's made of like like smoke or mist.
Okay.
Huh. That's
Oh,
quite a
that's
neat
really
trick. May I shake your hands, and dear miss?
Oh no, I really don't want you touching me. Thank you.
Yeah. He's
It's
got some
rude.
sort of disease, and I've heard that it's contagious.
Oh, you have a disease?
Mortarian!
Oh, I mean, I'm sorry.
There
What
is
is
no
this
disease.
disease of you
There
then?
is no disease. Stupid Garrick, you dumb-witted oaf of a dwarf.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, if you weren't such a dick to people, they wouldn't think you got some sort of disease.
That was what the disease was called.
Yeah, regardless, I would stay at least 5 feet away. You know, it's contagious, so
Shall we
Yes, I
move
like this dwarf a
on?
lot better.
yeah, it's unfortunately
Okay.
also incurable. Once you catch it, you're just a dick forever.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Wait, I mean, do we want to form some sort of plan? Are we just gonna open that fucking door and see what's on the other side?
Well, the unfortunate thing is, unless you new folk have some sort of magic spell to be able to hear or listen or see, or perhaps a little elf girl, you have listening sharp ears. Those pointy ears must do something. Would you like to push your ear against it and see if there's anyone outside?
Sure can give it a try.
Wonderful.
I'm also gonna go ahead and add racism to the dickish comment. I don't think sharp ears. When they say sharp ears, Caldwell, I don't think they literally mean sharp ears, but sure, yeah. When you take that
But
literally,
they're better coned, are they not? They receive the I don't know if we know it. Have you heard of sonar waves? It's cutting edge science knowledge thingamabob.
There it goes again.
Perhaps it is something that will help her listen better. Am I not right?
Once again, there are words being said, and I don't understand them.
well, Alarie, why don't you go ahead and make a perception check? And as you do that, flipping back to Scarlet, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 10 on my stealth.
Okay. So you scuttle out from the curtain into what looks like a thin hallway with a number of curtained off alcoves on either side. You're clearly underwater, or not underwater, I'm sorry, clearly under the deck of the ship as there's no light from here. However, there are a number of kind of like poorly maintained oil lamps that light this space. You can see to your left, the hallway sort of leads down and ends. It looks like a large room. To your right, there is what looks like a sturdier, fine door. Of note, with your passive perception, easy enough to see. Um, in that area to your left of that wide open area, there is a single figure who appears to be looking over a book and eating an apple. You can see a long cutlass sits on the table next to them. And past them, further beyond, is what looks like a large iron-bound door.
Okay. I would head towards that door. I would scuttle along the wall and try my best to make it past them.
Okay. So as you scuttle on the floor, I'm gonna go ahead and make a perception check for this pirate to see if they can hear you. Okay. That is a 13 plus 2 for a 15.
Mm.
As you scuttle across the uneven planks of the deck, the planking that would maybe seem even to a person in your rat form looks like hills and mounds as you move across it. As you scuttle into what looks like some sort of perhaps kitchen, filled with the smells of meat and other such like kitchen smells, the pirate who was reading a book sort of looks over towards you as your feet scrape against the wood and sort of puts the book down before slowly getting up.
I turn back into the hallway and dart off if I can.
Okay.
Or like turn around to go back into the hallway so that I
Okay.
can dart off.
As this happens, Alarie, what is your perception check?
Yes, my perception check was a 10.
Okay. As you listen to the door, you can hear what sounds like a small scuffing of a noise. It's unfortunately too thick, and you're not quite feeling perceptive enough to really catch it, but there does appear to be something on the other side of it.
Okay, I let them know that.
Well, my dear, you seem most equipped to handle the situation, what with your psionic blades and such. Though we don't know what is out there, if there's only a single something, perhaps you could do your little sneaky sneak and take care of it for us.
Well, we could jump it. That's also an option. Numbers.
If we're trying to be as loud as an elephant itself, yes.
What say you, everyone else? Let the little one go in. I don't feel good about that.
Right. I mean, the more we send out people solo, I feel like the more likely we are to just get caught and brought back.
As much as I hate to agree with Mustache over here, I do think it is the best viable option at this moment.
I have a name, child.
I suppose if you really want to.
Well, let
Go ahead.
Mortarian be the breaking vote. We don't care about Garrick's opinion, of course.
I care about your Garrick. Okay, I care about
My
Garrick's opinion.
Garrick? Oh, my. The scandal.
Yeah,
Mortarian?
I don't really enjoy being associated with Caldwell, but I'm a sailor, not a fighter. I can sail this bitch if we can take her over, but afraid I'm not gonna be much use getting her clear to these fucking Prince Bait scum. I'll leave it up to y'all. Worst comes to worst, I'll go back in the cage.
Well, if he's not going to fight, I am perfectly capable.
That wasn't the question, Mortarian. Were you paying attention?
Oh. I thought the question was, are we going to fight or not? And my answer to that is yes.
Oh, yes, we are eventually probably going to fight, hopefully with our arms. But my question was, should we send the little one out alone? She seems more deft, and she can summon her own weapons, or one of which we do not have at the moment.
I think that we all go together. If a fight is to break out,
Thank
five
you.
against whoever is there is probably better than one against whoever is there.
All right. Well, hopefully,
Even if that one has a dagger.
hopefully, given the size of the two of you, and I look at Mortarian and Thyra, we won't get stuck in the doorway. But perhaps you should be the last ones out, unless you want to charge first. I don't mind following after.
Hmm.
You can do some charging, can't you, Thyra? You got those horns, they're not just for decoration. Just, put down your head and push out the door.
Are we sure that's what we actually want to do?
You guys voted on it. I wanted to send out the little one, but it would be a shame to sacrifice her. I understand.
I mean, all right. By all means, just be ready. I'm already probably crouched down a bit, so I don't really need to bend down. But Thyra sort of like rears back a little bit, kind of like in a running stance. She's going to run directly at the door and try and charge it with her once. Which I actually believe should be.
So, just so I understand, are you going to try to open the door, or are you going to try to break it down?
Break it down, I guess.
Okay.
We
Alright.
go out with a style,
Okay. It is
Really just
iron.
announce
My
our
aim, by
presence.
the way, is if actually no, I have a name for afterwards if it's successful.
I mean, it's an iron banded door. But go ahead
Oh,
and make a strength athletics check
oh goody, oh
to
goody!
see
I
if
forgot
you
about the
can
door makeup.
knock it down.
Strength athletics. Boom, boom, boom. It's not a 0. It's 16.
Okay. 16 will actually just be enough. Mostly because this door was never locked in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys saw Lucius open it. However, luckily for you, it opens out. As you charge through it, throwing your shoulder against it, the door like gives a little resistance and then bursts out open. Scarlet, as you are hiding, what you see is a door. The door on the far side, the iron banded door, bursts open, and as the pirate is moving towards you, sort of hand outstretched, you see a massive, scantily clad, ripped Minotaur woman emerge, head down, horns forward, as the pirate just turns around and just looks dumbstruck for a moment. What is everyone doing? As you burst onto the scene, you see the pirate for a moment is just like very confused. There is a cutlass on the table. This pirate, sort of a grizzled older woman, human, long sort of gray, oily hair, a large slash from her left temple down the side of her face. She looks extremely surprised at the Minotaur charging out of the jail cell door. So you guys all have a moment. I would say specifically Scarlet, you and Thyra, you, as you are sort of helming this before any sort of initiative might start to do what you will, if there's anything you wish to accomplish.
Would you like to take the first move? Maybe.
Scarlet, me, I
Sorry.
looking at the situation. Does it So she went through the door. Does it look like she's gonna attack?
Yes, it does. I can say that. Absolutely.
Okay. So this little tiny rat will toll the dead
Okay.
at the person who was originally trying to catch me.
Okay. Go ahead and is that attack roll or a saving throw?
It is a saving throw. So
Could you-
it needs
Wisdom, right?
Could you explain what Toll
Yeah.
the Dead is to us?
Yeah. So
Toll
go ahead, Scarlet.
Toll the dead, so I can point at one creature I can see that's within range, and a sound of a bell fills the air around it. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take necrotic damage.
Okay.
And it gets stronger if they're missing any health, if anybody cares about that.
So unfortunately, this creature's not missing any health. But as Thyra breaks through the door, there's a moment of silence before you all hear a dong. That sort of a slow, dolorous bell that sort of fills the area. Yeah, go ahead and roll a d8 of necrotic damage. I will say this was not a quiet activity. Unfortunately, the ringing of a bell is a little out of place in this area. But however, what's done is done. So go ahead and roll 1d8 necrotic damage.
I mean, I rolled a 9. It takes 9 points of damage. It
Yeah,
because we're level.
yeah, it's 2d8. Yeah, because you're level 5.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. The bell fills the chamber with a bong before disappearing. Thyra, you watch as this bell rings, seemingly from nowhere. The pirate woman like stumbles and turns, and you can see this black blood running out of her nose and descending from her eyes. She looks very hurt. What are you gonna do?
I am going to run at her and attempt to grapple her against a wall with
Okay.
my unarmed strike.
Okay. Are you going to use your goring horns?
No, this is just an unarmed strike, which can have either damage, grapple, or shove as an
Okay.
effect.
Okay. So you want to grapple her?
Yes, I want
I
to
I
keep
will
her
say
restrained, basically.
she looks rough already. Whatever this bell that filled the area is, like she does not look like she has much left in her.
This is not a damaging attack. I want to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why I'm mentioning it. I
Mhm.
will. I mean, yeah. So if you want to grapple
Don't
her
mean.
instead of sort of silencing her permanently,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Go ahead and make an athletics check against her athletics acrobatics. Let's see if you can go ahead and grapple her as this half minotaur woman races across the interior and goes to grapple. Um, that is a 21 for her athletics. She rolled an 18 plus 3.
Yes. She should. I think she gets also the saving throw there from me because it is.
Oh,
14.
so when you
Actually, I don't need to
grapple,
roll for that, I don't
it's
think.
your athletics against her acrobatics, or is this like a special
Um,
grapple you have as
this
a minotaur?
technically counts as. So my description: unarmed strike. You make a melee attack that involves using your body to deal one of the following effects: damage, grapple, or shove.
Yeah, that's fine. So you would hit, and then she, as her turn comes before initiative order, would have a
Mhm.
chance to escape. So did you hit her? What was your attack roll?
I did that attack roll is 20.
Okay, so yeah, you would grapple her for a moment before
Mhm.
she kind of snakes out on her turn with her action, and you watch as she begins to open her mouth. At this point, as everyone else is sort of filing into the room, rather than go into initiative because she is so weak, just go ahead and tell me what you guys would do in this moment. I think specifically those of you who have weapons or have magic who could help in this scenario rather than going through everyone.
I mean, I would try to use chill touch.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and that is a touch attack, right?
Um,
Or is it 30
so
feet?
it's actually so it's actually a range. It's 120 feet.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make an attack roll. And once again, this single guard looks already like pretty much on their last legs, which is why we're not actually entering combat map initiative.
Well, I rolled an 8, so
Okay, that will miss. Anyone else going to do anything here? What does that look like, Whisper?
um so yeah, she's gonna reach out and for a second like her eyes light up like white like or rather I want to say they probably like roll back in her head for a second.
Okay.
Um and this skeletal like smoke hand tries to make a grab at this woman, but it fizzles out and kind of like wafts away in the breeze before it can make contact.
Okay. Anyone else want to do anything before, or should we enter proper initiative?
Before initiative, I believe I can summon my pact weapon.
You certainly could.
I would like to do that.
I believe that is actually correct me if I'm wrong. That is a bonus action, correct?
I think it's an action.
Okay. So, okay, let me, for now, throw us onto a battle map as you guys attempt to take out this single pirate without any weapons or armor. Okay, so Scarlet, you'd be right here. This pirate is right here. You don't have spiritual weapon out. And the rest of you are sort of filing out of the cell room in which you were taken. So you guys can place yourselves on roll 20. You should be able to see the battle map. You can go ahead and place yourselves anywhere sort of in this chamber right here on the Malefica. As this pirate who is already bloodied, as you guys attempt to silence her before she makes some sort of revealing noise that could reveal you to the larger crew. So why don't you guys go ahead, select your character tokens, and roll me initiative, please. Okay. Damn, we got some good rolls coming in. Caldwell with a 22, Alarie with a 22, Thyra with a 16,
nat
Mortarian
20.
with a nat
Oh my
20. What is
God
up?
damn.
Who's going first?
I keep rolling like shit.
Scarlet Whispers down here. Yeah, not your best rolls, unfortunately. Just as a reminder, I will add at this time, but make sure you select your character before you roll, please. Make my life much easier.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, Mena, sorry.
It's okay. So Mortarian, Alarie, Caldwell, Thyra, Scarlet, Whisper, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so everyone, and then the pirate is gonna roll. God, I'm rolling all over the place today. That is an 8. As we go ahead and enter. So Mortarian, as you summon your pact weapon, describe to me what that looks like.
So it doesn't actually summon directly into his hand. It summons to his hip. And you see a sort of swirl come around his sort of waist, a black shadowy swirl, which as the shadows begin to disappear, it turns into a silvery steel, and what looks like it would be a whip is there. However, it's a steel-ish whip.
Yeah, awesome, super cool.
Very sharp as well.
Yeah. So Mortarian, since you're going, why don't you guys go ahead and arrange yourselves in this room real quickly, as you want to be. I would say nobody can be sort of to the left of Scarlet, and you guys came from this room. As you see all the cages in here. So if any of you want to be back in there, you can be. Thyra, you'll have to be right up against the pirate because you were trying to grapple her.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of you, if you want to move around, feel free to do that now. Mortarian, as you react first, you watch as the pirate sort of pushes off Thyra, breaking her hold. As the whip appears, what would you like to do?
I'd like to swiftly draw the whip, and I believe I can hit the pirate from here.
Yeah, I believe, yeah. Oh, yeah, you can. Whip has 10 feet, so go ahead and make an attack roll on this pirate.
Do I have to select the pirate or just myself?
No, just go ahead and no, you don't have to. So you don't have to select yourself for initiative rolls. Anything else, just go ahead and roll in d20, and it'll roll right through to the right hand page, right hand side of the page in D&D Beyond.
Rightio. That's the damage. I didn't mean to hit that. That's not
It's all
correct.
Yeah.
That one.
Okay, an 18 will definitely hit this pirate who is only lightly armored in leather armor. So go ahead and roll damage. Okay.
5.
You watch as the whip cracks out and cracks across the chest. Bright blood wells to the surface, and you can tell this pirate's feeling very rough. They sort of stumble back under the onslaught, and looking around, they look like they're about to open their mouths to yell. However, their initiative is trash, so there is a number of things you can do first. So that is your action. Do you want to move or use your bonus action, Mortarian?
I might move
Okay.
just
Remember,
to here.
you do have dual weapon. You don't have a dual weapon, so never mind. You can make an
No,
unarmed
I don't. Yeah.
strike and like try to punch them if you wished.
I think I'll just move to here.
Okay. Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay, with that, Caldwell, it is your turn. What I want to remind you guys, unless otherwise noted, you do not have armor and or weapons.
Okay. Where
I
is
will say, however,
the?
Caldwell, there is a
Yeah, that's what I was going
cutlass
to go
right
for it.
here.
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
figured. Yep.
thinking.
There is a cutlass on the table right here that the pirate is sort of reaching towards, but you are accustomed to dangerous situations, and you are far faster than this unnamed pirate. So if you wish, you can pick up the cutlass, which acts as a scimitar.
I will pick up the cutlass.
Okay. Yeah. Their
Kind of
hand
have
is
to
like
move
reaching
over,
towards
right?
it. Yeah, their hand is reaching towards it, but like Thyra has grabbed them as they're escaping. They're reaching for it, but you just reach and you pick it up by the hilt and hold it towards them. Yeah, so that would
Okay,
be
I'm gonna have
your
to.
bonus action to pick up a weapon, but you still have your action to attack if you wish.
I'm gonna have to add a cutlass to my
Just go
inventory really
ahead.
quick.
Do you have a short sword or a long sword,
I
right?
have a
I think.
rapier. Rapier
Yeah,
in my
just go.
yeah.
It's the exact same attack and damage. Scimitar is just
Okay.
slashing instead of piercing. So just go ahead and roll that.
All right. I'll go ahead and roll my hit.
Okay, and remember you have 2 attacks.
It is the first hit is 10.
A 10 will miss. As you stab at them, they manage to kind of duck out of the way. The unfamiliar cutlass not managing to land a hit on them.
All right, and then another hit, which is a
12.
12.
Yeah, they managed to sort of duck partially behind Thyra, and as much as you're tempted to stab her, you manage to slide. The cutlass is unfamiliar and heavy in your hand. This is not a fine weapon. Kind of unwieldy as you take 2 slashes. Thyra sort of dances out of the way, probably shoots you a sort of cutting look. But that is your action. Do you want to take movement? You still have 25 feet of movement left.
No, I would provoke opportunity if I moved.
Yeah. Okay. So that is Caldwell's turn. Alarie, you go ahead. As you watch Caldwell sort of flail with an unfamiliar scimitar at this pirate woman who's like looking around, trying to dodge all of the incoming attacks.
Okay, figured this would happen. So Alarie does another flick of the wrist and summons a psionic blade and gets ready to attack her to throw it.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and make an attack roll.
Okay. That will be a 27.
Natural 20. Okay. Go ahead and roll damage. Make sure you
Okay.
right click and roll critical damage.
Critical damage.
Yep.
Understand. That will be a 13.
Okay. How, Alarie, do you want to do this? As this dagger will find a vital organ and take the life of this pirate. Describe to me what happens as this pirate is dodging Caldwell's swings, but your dagger finds the key place to secure the victory.
So she just does it nonchalantly, throws the dagger as she sees the opportunity, and her last words, it will be, "Sorry, buddy, you just happened to be on the wrong side."
Okay. As the pirate is sort of dodging Caldwell, she spins away from a slash and then takes a purple and pink psionic dagger right to the throat. You watch the hands sort of claw up towards it, like trying to pull it out as it just dissolves to dust beneath her hands. You hear Alarie say, "Sorry, buddy," and the pirate just looks confused, tries to force out a word as she falls silently to the ground. However, this scuffle was not exactly quiet. So as combat ends, I'm going to go ahead and make some rolls to see if anyone else important noticed this. Okay. Interesting. I have done my rolls. And we shall find out what exactly that means. However, we will now move off our battle map and return back to the Malefica interior, the room where this fight took place. As the body slumps to the ground, we are exiting initiative order and once back in again to our normal play pace. So as the body slumps to the ground, what are you all doing?
I'm still a rat
Oh.
at this point. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you're still a rat, yeah.
So I come out of my little hiding spot, and I guess based off of where everyone ended on the map, I think I would see Whisper first.
That
So
sounds right, yeah.
with
Yeah.
a flash of magic again, I'm back to being a parrot.
Oh my
And
god. Oh my god.
say,
Wow.
I'm so glad you guys are okay.
Oh my god, you're here. Oh my god, this makes things so much better. Wow.
I clear my throat very loudly and give a very pointed look to the bird.
Hello, Master Caldwell.
Ahem.
Not to be that person, but we're trying to be stealthy right now, yeah?
You're indeed right. Please, what took you so long?
Well, I was getting away from a nasty pirate that tried to turn me into taxidermy. So, just took a minute. Sorry.
I suppose that
Wait,
will be
you
all
know him?
right.
Yes, this is Master Caldwell.
Oh.
Master.
Don't you forget it. All right, well, we
Oh.
made quite a ruckus, didn't we? This is why I wanted to send the elf girl out. She dealt the final blow anyway, something that our monstrous Minotaur lady could not do. But it was a valiant effort.
Trying to kill them, you idiot! Like
Well.
she is like starting to boil. Like she was staring at the body the entire time. That talking. She's not even looked at the parrot. She is just staring at the body and now just staring like with the fucking dead. Like I'm gonna kill you eye to well Caldwell because he's poking at her.
Yeah.
But it
So
was towards Zaylee for a second.
in this moment, as you all take in the room, you find yourself in what is very clearly some sort of pirate kitchen. You see there is what looks like two hatches in here, one leading up and one leading down. The one that leads down is behind the counter that holds some half-eaten meals, some jars, some bottles, and some cups. And then near to you guys is a ladder and a trapdoor that looks to lead up. Behind you, there's the door you came through, but looking down the hall, there's a number of curtained off areas, one of which, Scarlet, you emerged from. At the end of that hallway, there is what looks like I don't want to call it a fine looking door because nothing on the ship is really fine, but a door of markedly better make than anything else you've seen here. And outside of it is hanging two oil lit lanterns. Um, we have a number of people with quite high wisdom, correct? I believe at least Scarlet, your wisdom should be relatively high, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So with your passive perception, as sort of probably Thyra and Caldwell begin to argue, you can hear what sounds like a little bit of movement from below you.
I let the group know.
Okay.
That-
Yeah. You think, whether it's related or unrelated to the disturbance you just made, there are certainly people below you. And as you look around, the trapdoor on the far side, sort of inside of the kitchen, looks like it leads down probably the most likely avenue for them to come up if they were to come up a certain way.
Well, in favor of my tactic earlier, I do believe that we should send the elf in first this time. What say you, as opposed to... Yes?
Sorry, real quick. When I escaped, right before that, Dragon got called up onto the deck, right?
Yeah,
Am I remembering that
Dragon
correctly?
and Lucius went upstairs. So as far as you know, given that there's probably a floor below you, it seems like the Malefica is probably a 3-floored ship. I would say Scarlet and Caldwell, having been on ships, you would know that that's pretty typical. You have the deck on top, and then you have the underdeck, which is probably what you're on right now, simply where the crew lives, things like that. Then below that is what's called the bilge, which is an area of ballast where sort of the ship is balanced. That's where like your crates and stuff are, and that can often be underwater. Although not necessarily wet on, inside of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let the group know that, as far as I'm aware, last I heard, the leaders are up on deck.
Okay.
It'd
So that
be...
seems like pertinent information.
I think it'd be against our fortune to go up at the moment. There seems to be some activity downstairs, but I don't know. Alarie seems to be good at sneaking a little bit. So, what say you scout the lower decks for us?
I could check it out.
And before we move on, Whisper is going to go over to the pirate, and she is going to, close her eyes, and like lay her out and be like, "I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I can't believe we did that. Oh my god, oh my god." And then, but even as she is doing that, she's going to cast Disguise Self to turn herself into this woman.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's the pet? Oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. As you sort of lay out this individual, you go ahead and cast channeling your innate magic, and you watch as the features don't so much change as an illusion settles over Whisper to become a copy of this woman. As this is all happening, as we are about 2 hours in, let's go ahead and move towards our mid-session break as we look to see what kind of chaos and or adventure that you guys will get into in the second half.
All right. With that said, we're going to go on our
Alrighty.
break. We are going to be out for 15 minutes. Please get some water, use the restroom, etc., etc. Whatever you may be doing in 15 minutes. But we will see you soon for a little bit of just chatting before we hop right back into the game. Alrighty. Take care. Be right back. hello, and welcome back. We are back in it. How are you guys enjoying the campaign so far? Who is your favorite character? Please tell me in the sidebar. It's obviously Caldwell. Everybody loves Caldwell.
Everyone
Yeah.
hates Caldwell.
He's the bestest
That's going
boy.
to be the name of the campaign. Everybody hates Caldwell.
Yep.
It's like everybody loves Raymond, but it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's everybody hates Chris.
Oh man, it's a time.
It
It's a
turns
time
into a
playing
sitcom.
him too. It's a time playing him too, because I'm like intentionally saying some really like messed up things, and it's just like
Really mean
no.
things. It's just like you're just playing a character, right? You're not like that in real life.
totally,
No.
totally, never. I'm that. I'm totally not like this. Anyway, I just play pretend in all of my videos.
Mm.
Yeah, this is what your Monster Hunter Wilds character is actually like. you just abuse your palico.
Oh man, thank you for the welcome backs. Thank you for the welcome backs. I am not hearing the sidebar who your favorite characters are. Do we have any thoughts on how the perp? Do we have any thoughts on how the campaign's rolling out so far from any of my co-cast?
It's
Feeling
good.
good.
I'm
Having fun.
enjoying it.
Well,
Mhm.
you
Nice.
guys won your first fight.
Little giant. I had a disconnect. Is my stream okay? I had a note
The
about a
stream- I think the
disconnection really
stream
quick.
just went
Yeah, you're
offline.
offline.
It went offline. It says that it's back on.
Refresh.
Wait. Oh, wait for it.
Oh, no.
Is the stream back up, y'all?
Still says
There's
offline.
I have an ad now. Yeah, it
Yep,
looks
it's
like
back.
an ad.
Says
Is it back up?
offline.
Yeah.
It says
I have an
says
ad
like-
for a 5-layer burrito from Taco Bell.
it's 25
I have an
seconds.
ad for the police force, so I think that actually fits my
getting
character.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm also
nice,
getting.
nice.
I'm also
Oh,
getting
the internet
the 5-layer
did it.
burrito.
The internet took a dive for me. Give me a bit.
Oh wait, now it's a
Hopefully the
woman in a
internet-
wedding dress walking through
Oh,
a
I got-
to a volcano.
I got Jeff Goldblum. I'm the winner.
Oh.
It is lagging. It is lagging. The internet did take a dive just now, which is unfortunate.
Is that on your end or Twitch?
It's it might be Twitch. It might be mine. I'm gonna check my internet speed real quick. Apologies. I hope everything. Please stand
You know,
by.
if you were subbed to VOD Persona, I think you would not get an ad, which shows what a bad friend I am.
Yeah, the internet is running. Should be running just fine. Give me a second to see.
Well, you
need
should
my
give your
internet.
friends subs. Just guess like you into like doing it. Just like, like we're all friends. Do it.
Yeah, totally.
You get a sub.
Yeah.
If someone wants to
Everybody
gift me
gets a
sub so I
sub.
can avoid
Mhm.
ads, I'm open to it.
Yeah, I can't believe that the DM doesn't even have a sub. What the heck?
You can donate to me through Vog's Throne. Buy me matcha. Get me a new microphone if you want. I'm not splitting any proceeds with it. So.
Hey, I got you a
Yeah.
sub.
Oh
Don't
my
kill my
god.
character, please.
All right,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the
Is it
sub.
Italian?
There's the sub.
You can take a point of inspiration, Chirio. Advantage on any roll.
Oh.
What? Blatant favoritism. Damn.
No,
Okay,
that's
Didn't
yeah.
know this was like the Catholic
called
Church.
bribery.
Crazy.
I know, right? I'm gonna see
Mhm.
what's going on. Maybe I should reset my Wi-Fi. I'm not. Hello. We're back in it. I believe everything should be good now. Please let me know. I apologize for the break. I apologize for crappy internet. The stuff has been spotty ever since the fires in my area. But they're working on it. They are working on it. I hope everyone is doing well. My apologies for the break. I do not remember what we were talking about aside from who your favorite character is. And since I didn't hear anything, it was obviously Codwell. Codwell is everybody's favorite here. Exactly.
Actually,
I don't
everyone
remember
said
that.
burb. There was a list of burbs in chat.
So many
I
burbs.
saw a lot of burbs too.
No, I heard Codwell. Codwell is the best. He's the best. The
Let
best there ever
us-
was.
Let us, with the extended break, jump back in so we make sure we can hopefully give these good people a resolution to the first episode.
Alrighty. Here we go.
All right. So, as we return, I really shouldn't call them heroes. You guys have to come up with a group name eventually, but as we return to our band of misfit prisoners bereft of arms and armor, um, as you all stand over the body of the pirate woman who was guarding the prison door, whose appearance now one of you whispers now holds. You see there is a ladder leading up. There is looks like a trap door behind the kitchen counter leading down. There's the door you came through that's still open to the prison, partially blasted off its hinges by Thyra's rabid charge in. There are a number of curtained alcoves, one of which Scarlet emerged from just a couple minutes ago. And at the end of the hall, there is a large door.
All
Which,
right.
yeah, what would you guys like to do?
Let's see. Now that our dear Whisper has taken on the form of our hapless victim, friend, the body over there. Anyways, now that she looks like her, I would suggest that we send both her and our dear elf friend to Scout, where she can be the front-facing person, even though we never found out exactly what she sounded like, because a very nice dagger throw from our dear elf. But she should be the front person and distract whoever may be around while Alarie has a little look around. What say you all?
I am not opposed to this.
Yeah, I'm not pleased by any of this so far, but we have to get out of here. I do not want to be put back in those cages and made a slave. So, morality has to wait for a little, just temporarily. So, Alarie, I think I can probably make up a pirate accent, maybe, if you can back
believe
me
in
up.
you.
Thank you. If things go south, oh, I can't fight.
We will be here
Apparently.
clapping for you and wishing the best.
I don't want your input. I really don't.
But I came up with this.
This was obviously my plan already. I turned myself into the woman.
All right. I will slow clap, like this. That's very good input, if you might
Oh
be.
my god. Oh my god. She was like saying this under their breath. She's just like, oh my fucking god.
All right, then, chop, you two. Have a wonderful trip.
Ladies first.
And where are you guys going?
Well, up, I'm assuming, is deck.
So, I mean, I don't think most of you have any real specific knowledge of sales or sailing or shipping. I mean, obviously, you've all spent time on some sort of boat, but probably not enough time to really learn the ins and outs of ships.
I mean,
Deck is probably up, yeah.
yeah, well, yeah. Well, because they just took me and Alarie down.
Yes, that's true.
So,
Yeah. So there was you guys recall, upon your return from the island, you guys were taken to the deck, and then you were brought down the ladder to your right, and then thrown into the cell. The trapdoor to your left, none of you have been through yet, but you assume, I mean, probably pretty accurately leads down. And then the door on the far end of the hall, likewise, none of you have been through. I would say Scarlet could tell you that the curtained areas are probably crew's quarter, whether that's for normal crew or just like the more high level ones. You're not sure.
Okay.
Tell them the state of the room that I ran out of and how Dragons was all the way at the back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and you can feel free to sort of put that in your own words, however Scarlet would describe it, to them as you let them know this.
it was horrible. So Dragon took me Dragon took me back to what I'm assuming is his quarters, and he planned to taxidermy me along with the rest
Oh.
of his collection.
Oh,
He got pulled away
taxidermy
though.
him.
Thank you. He got pulled away though, and was heading up towards the deck.
Oh,
Well,
I
why
was
did he pull
wondering when you
away?
were going to give us relevant information. Thank you. Go on.
Sorry, Master Caldwell. So to get here, I ran through what I'm assuming is the crew quarters. I don't think there was anybody in there, and then into the hall, and I found you guys. So, yeah.
So, weapons are not at the end of the hall, little bird.
Did I see any weapons or anything inside the crew quarters?
There was like some rusty daggers in Dragon's room, but so the crew quarters, to be clear, you like ran down this middle hallway. The crew quarters are to either side these like small little cubbies, like alcoves that are mostly covered by like sailcloth or some sort of other linen, curtains to give a mediocrity of privacy. And then of the far door at the end, you have no idea. You never went through there. Dragon's quarters are on the end to the right, so before the door that would lead sort of further into this level, probably towards the back of the ship.
Okay, so Dragon, so she was just close to the big door. There's still a mysterious room in the back.
I don't know about mysterious. There's certainly a room that has not yet been explored in the back.
All right.
Okay, I like
of
it.
this level, yeah.
How about we
And
go there?
Okay.
to sort of, I guess, give you guys a better view of exactly what this level is, let me move back to the battle map because I'm not sure you guys saw it all. So this is sort of what the ship roughly looks like. So these are the crew quarters right here. You see I'm pinging.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, these are like little alcoves that are closed off. And then this is an actual door. And then this is where you came from. This is the way up right here, and this is the way down over here.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
moving you back to the actual photo of the interior.
Well, maybe we look for, I don't know, bargaining chips? There has to be something valuable down here that we can, I don't know, lord over their heads if they find us.
Might I suggest weapons?
Yes, and if we can locate those.
Sounds like a wonderful
I'm
plan.
going to go.
I'm gonna turn to Garrick. I'm still a little like pissed, so it comes off a little harsh to the guy, but you know ships, where they usually hold the armories.
Yeah, I have a name, Garrick, but I understand your ankles are a little bit up right now, so that's okay. I know it's a stressful situation, but look, I mean, armory could be, its own room in the underdeck, could be in the bilge, could be on the deck. It's hard to tell. I didn't see an armory on the deck on our way in. I would guess ship of this size, they're unlikely to have a dedicated armory room. I only spotted about 12, 13 crew. Probably keep their own weapons. Any extra? Maybe the captain's quarters, or could be down in the bilge.
Captain's quarters is not what we want. I sort of like
Well
sitting
then.
there, like tapping my foot against the wood.
There's two. Please stop tapping the wood, even though, because we just heard someone below us. a little bit of common sense. There's two directions that I see we can go in. Well, the door at the end of the hall and the one below. Since we heard movement down below, I would suggest sending our dear disguised friend over here to meet and associate with our dear elf friend. Meanwhile, the three of us larger, more outstanding folk. Three? I can't count. Oh, yes. Bird, you are here too. We could go to the room at the end of the hall and hope that no one is there.
I would like to check these other rooms first.
Sure.
Perhaps
We
there
could do
are
that on the way.
valuables in them.
Oh, speaking of valuables, could I start searching the body's belongings?
Yeah, go ahead and make an investigation check as you sort of have the time-honored tradition of looting the fallen.
Yep.
That is a 15.
Okay. You find mostly personal effects. You find 3 silver pieces, 4 copper pieces. There was the sort of unwieldy cutlass you already have. Once again, you can use the same stats as a rapier. It just does slashing instead of piercing damage. She has a pair of leather armor on that might fit maybe Whisper or Mortarian, but probably not you, Caldwell, or Thyra. Could maybe
I
fit Alarie too.
I think
Alarie.
Mortarian is bigger than me, so probably not the
Oh.
three of us.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, could maybe fit Alarie or Whisper. But it's not well made. I mean, it's just a set of leather armor, not well taken care of, and sort of partially covered with blood now.
Well, that may ruin a disguise, but dear elf, do you think you could make use of this?
Absolutely not. I am not wearing armor with blood on it.
So spoiled these days, the children are. All right then, well, do you wish to wear this, dear Whisper?
No. No, I really don't. I've already stolen this woman's appearance, and I don't want to steal her actual clothing.
That's quite unfortunate. Well, what say you that we split a little bit for just a short while? If you run into any problems down there, be sure to not yell. We will obviously know and come to you very quickly.
The way you worded that was very suspicious, but I suppose we have no choice.
You have my word. I'll be at your aid if you need me. No matter what Caldwell says.
Right,
Yes,
right.
I like you. You're great. Love you. Love the whole love the whole look.
Thyra nods her head slightly, tilting it. Just sort of like a nice happy gesture.
Well, enough dawdling. Shall we go then?
Right before we separate, I'm gonna fly over to Whisper, and the moment before they go, or she goes where she's going, I'm gonna cast Guidance, and I'm gonna hold it for the full minute.
Okay.
Just in
And
case.
just for my understanding out of game, so Alarie and Melody, Alarie and Whisper, you're going down.
Correct.
Okay, and the
Yes.
rest of you are doing what?
I am
Checking-
walking around checking the rooms. Not for
Yeah,
money,
staying
or
on this one. Certainly.
not for valuables, like I said. He says valuables and means weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
probably going to see if I can perceive anything on the other side of the door. Stick my ear against it.
Okay. Caldwell, go ahead. As you first of all, everyone roll a stealth check who's trying to be stealthy, which is I'm guessing everyone except for Whisper.
Yeah.
Especially you, Alarie, as you are potentially trying to descend to the lower floors without being seen. I'm definitely gonna need a stealth check from you.
Okay.
I have a
I
question.
rolled a 17.
Go ahead, Caldwell.
So right now it has me as disadvantage because it says I'm wearing armor, but I'm not
But you're
currently wearing
not.
armor.
Yeah, so right click and just roll it pure.
Just that one die. Okay.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so stealth. Stealth's pretty solid for people upstairs. Oof, never
20.
mind. Oof, some
Oh,
poor rolls in the end
Hullo.
there. Okay, so splitting the party, which I have to say, as an experienced DM, always a questionable choice.
Hmm.
But we will cover the top or the middle floor first.
Mm.
As you guys move to start looking around, Mortarian, you're quite stealthy. Everyone else,
Oh,
not
no.
so much.
Oh, no.
Luckily, as far as you know, there's nothing left on this floor, but if there was, they would probably hear you as you go to ruck and investigate around these rooms. I would like one of you, please, to roll an investigation check, sort of leading this up. If anyone else who is searching has proficiency in investigation and says it now, you can make that roll with advantage.
No.
I don't have it.
Okay, that's just
Chirio?
I think
Or
you mean
did you join them
Scarlet.
downstairs, Scarlet? Did you join them downstairs, or you just guidanced and then left them, or stayed with us?
I guidanced and would have stayed with you guys. And
Okay.
I am
Okay.
not an investigation type.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then just one of you make a roll. I think, Caldwell, you also said you wanted to listen in at the end of the hall, so why don't you make a perception check and someone else can make an investigation roll?
Okay. I'll do
Just
the
a straight
perception.
roll, whoever wants to investigate, yep.
Perception for me. 14.
Okay, and can someone roll investigation as well?
Sure, I will go for it.
Oops.
Oh, you went for it. Don't worry. We have
Ugh.
Wow.
2.
Wow. Wow. Hmm.
Okay. So you look through. I mean, Mortarian, Thyra, and Scarlet, you're all a bit frazzled by your predicament. It's been very rapidly changing, especially Mortarian and Thyra. You're a little bit weak from your weeks of imprisonment, and the light is sort of hurting your eyes through the portholes. And you do a cursory check within the limits you've put and trying to be quiet. I mean, there's stuff in here, but you don't manage to find anything useful. On the flip side, Caldwell, you, as you listen in through the door, you have a good amount of certainty that nobody is on the other side.
All right. Can I try it?
You try the handle, it is locked.
Ooh. Bird, do you still have those things? Your things, specifically.
Are you talking about the lockpicking kit?
I am.
I do.
Could
I
you
can
try your
certainly give it
hand
a
at
try.
this? Please
Yeah.
and thank you.
Okay. You guys watch as describe to me how you take out the lockpicks and use them as a bird.
So, I at the moment am sitting on Caldwell's shoulder. You see a foot come up and then tuck into her scarlet feathers, and she pulls out this itty bitty lock-picking set. And I think she would. Master Caldwell, can you please hold your arm next to the door?
Certainly.
And she'll try to lockpick.
Okay, go ahead and make a lock-picking check. As this is going on, Whisper and Alarie, you open the hatch and descend down into the bilge, closing the trapdoor behind you. I imagine Whisper probably leads, whereas Alarie sort of follows very stealthily. And luckily, you rolled well enough that you managed to do this just fine. The two of you descend into the lowest depths of the Malefica, where the air turns thick and heavy with the scent of damp wood. and brine. The
Well,
underhold is
this
a cramped, aggressive space. Barely tall enough to stand upright, the ceiling lined with beams slick with condensation. The walls feel close, almost pressing inward, as if the ship itself is trying to swallow this part of it whole. The dim glow of a single, oil-drenched lantern swings from a hook, its flickering light casting long, shifting shadows over the haphazard stacks of barrels and crates crammed into every available space. The floor is slick, damp with seawater that seeps through the aging hull, pooling in uneven grooves among the warped planks as you drop down with a small splash. The smell of salt and rot mingles with something more rancid, the unmistakable scent of old meat and decay. 4 figures work in near silence, their figures half hidden among the maze of cargo, throwing something into a hole that must lead deeper to another layer of the ship. Around them, the underhold is cluttered with provisions and plunder, but nothing is stored with care. Casks of spoiled ale leak onto the floor, the contents mixing in with filth and seawater. Sacks of grain, heavy with damp, sit rotting in the corners, the fabric split open by gnawing rats. Some of the crates are marked with faded seals. Others bear hastily scratched symbols. In the silence, the ship groans around you, a deep, slow creaking that echoes to the underhold like a beast shifting in an uneasy slumber. Whisper. As you descend down with that stealth, uh, the figures turn to you and sort of see you, taking a quick look over you and seeing someone they know. They return to their work, seemingly not noticing the stealthy form of Alarie in your wake.
Perfect. I'm just gonna like pretend to be like rifling around in some of the boxes so that they like don't. I feel like I need a reason to have come down here, and I feel like provisions and whatever whatnot would be a good uh cover, I guess.
Okay, go ahead and make a deception check. As you just, you attempt to move around the space in a way that does not arouse the suspicion of these people. Pretty
Okay,
low DC since you look like someone they know and trust.
great. I got a 19.
Okay, yeah, easy enough. You don't even warrant a second look or comment as you begin to muck around in here. Looking around the space, you see as you get closer, the 4 figures are throwing what looks like spoiled food into this large hole in the center of this. Beneath, you can hear like the sloshing of water, and occasionally, when the boat rocks significantly, you see a bit of water sloshes up and out of this hole in the middle. They're throwing what looks like rotten food into it.
Do I get the sense that they're feeding something?
Um,
Or
I
is
would
it is
say
or is it
yes.
more to keep like okay, so they are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
as they throw like this overripe green in, it's hard to see, but you swear to God, you see like a black tendril wrap around it and pull it deeper.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Great. So I'm going to take some of the gross food also. And I'll head over and I'll look in because I want to get a closer look at this thing, whatever it is.
Okay. You will notice that while they're throwing in food, they're standing at least 5 or 6 feet back from this hole. Do you
Gotcha.
want
Okay.
to attempt to get that level of close, or do you want to be closer?
Uh, I think if they're standing back. I think I also want to be a little far away, but like as close as I can comfortably get
Okay.
without risk of being snatched.
Well, once again, you have no idea what's in there. Do you want to
Right.
be like roughly as far away as they are?
Sure.
Okay. As you sort of approach, one of the pirates, sort of an older, half orc man. You can see the tusks sort of filed down a little bit. Greasy gray hair sort of hanging a single lock from the top of his head. Clad in like almost pelt armor. Turns to you and goes, "Why did Lucius send you down to help us?"
Well, you know him. Changes his mind all the damn time. I was watching the prisoners.
I can't wait to get them off the ship. It's always dangerous carrying them, especially given where we got them.
I
Should fetch
know.
good coin, though.
Well, if you ask me, more trouble than they're worth.
Luckily, you and I don't make choices around here. Dragon and Lucia shall handle it.
Too true. Too true, my friend.
Don't get too close. The disposal is hungry today. Already tried to grab me twice.
Really? Acting up then?
It's feisty today. It's hungry. But, what else are we gonna do with all this spoiled grain?
Right. Through this conversation, yeah, like Whisper's trying to like peer in and like
Okay.
see if she can get like a greater sense of this
Go
thing's size, like
Go
what.
ahead and make a perception check.
Okay. No, not one.
You know, it's
Damn.
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because it's quite dark down here. You sort of begin to lean in, and you watch as the orc sort of grabs you and pulls you back as a long, oozy tendril reaches out towards you. He just manages to pull you back before it almost grasps you. It slams on the wood of the underdeck and sort of slowly comes back, leaving a slimy, almost acidic trail. You watch as the wood melts slightly.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Um, I think Whisper's like breathing hard. I think part of like the reason, yeah, it's dark, and then like I think just the smell alone is
Yeah.
making her eyes sting. Like she's like they are watering from like
Yeah,
how
yeah. I mean, like it's like
pungent.
yeah, it's like acidic and all the rotting food and like it's really an assault on the senses down here. And like you're in such an enclosed space, like it's sweat, it's rotten ale, it's seawater, it's something acidic, it's the ripe smell of moldy grain. It's very overpowering to the senses.
And she's gonna swear. I don't know like necessarily like what god she would swear by or like what name she would use in this like as a like the equivalent of
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there are a number of gods you could swear to. You would know as someone relatively learned. Some sailors swear by Grumsh, the one-eyed god of storms. I mean, Pelor, Ayun. Basically any god's name can be turned into a curse. Although to invite their attention is not always wise. So I think like a god's damn would still be a very common saying.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, that's what she's like. God damn, speaking of liabilities, Christ. Why the hell they keep this thing around anyway?
Lia, but like yeah. Waste disposal, prisoners.
Well, if we lose crew members to it, God.
Well, it's just
Shit.
less mouths to feed, right, Vi?
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I just got a little thanks for
It's all
watching my
right.
back.
Yeah, well, decided not to push you in this time, but you never know.
Well, I guess I should go check on the prisoners again. You're doing good work down here.
Thanks. Perhaps give a cards later for some coppers.
You know it. And she's gonna try to head back like she is still rattled, I think. Like definitely this is very much out of her depth. Um
All right. Alarie, while this is all going on, as you sort of have free reign over this area, what are you doing down here?
I was looking for anything that of significance.
Okay, can you be a little more specific?
Anything that could be potentially useful to us, as we try to take over this ship, so
Okay.
such as weapons or anything.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Okay. That is a 25.
Okay. Looking around this area, I mean, there's a lot of boxes in here. However, with that fantastic roll, and by the way, you're killing these rolls. You do find a couple of things that might be of use. You recall, because it was just like an hour ago when you were captured, you saw on the deck two things. There was a scorpion, which, for those of you who don't know, is like a small shipborne catapult. Definitely much smaller than a trebuchet, but typically used for ship-to-ship combat. Additionally, there was a ballista, which is a large sort of mounted crossbow. And as you look through here, you do actually find what looks like a box of ballista bolts. 5 in total, and these are thick, almost 2.5 foot long, thick arrows. They can be used to, put naphtha onto other ships, but also often used in ship-to-ship combat just to skewer people. Yeah, you can go ahead and take a number of these, 5 in total. You can sort of wrap them up and tuck them in your cloak. These are not cannot be used for anything else, but I guess in a pinch could potentially be used as javelins. But there's no armory down here, no huge amount of weapons or weaponry or anything like that.
Okay.
You do additionally find a single smoke powder barrel, sort of tucked in the corner. Now, because you rolled that high, I'll tell you it's smoke powder, which you only know its use as a mining explosive. Um, Very dangerous to have on a ship,
Right.
but potentially useful in combat if you wish to risk it.
Oh,
So you can add a smoke powder barrel to, or smoke powder. It'd really be a pouch more than this is a very small barrel. A smoke powder pouch to your inventory, and just for everyone's use, think of this as like a stick of TNT.
okay.
this could be useful later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worth noting though, and I want to make this very clear: explosions cause fire.
Right.
Mhm.
So use at your own discretion.
Ship could go boom later. Anyways, it seems that it's all that we can gather from down here.
Yeah. And I'll say with that, because I think, Whisper, was there anything else you want to do down here?
No, I think she's filing away like the information. She's like, maybe we use this thing as a distraction later on. Like
Mhm.
if we can, like we know it's down here, so we
Yeah.
might be able to use it. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
she's at this point just beating a hasty retreat.
Yeah, no problem. With your stealth checks, you guys make your way back up. As this has all been going on, Scarlet, what did you roll on your lockpicking?
I rolled a 21.
Okay, that will be enough. Under your dexterous small little fingers, click, the lock unlocks and the door pushes open. You find yourself. Go ahead, Caldwell.
Oh, I was just gonna say I take a moment to look around.
I was going to describe the room for you. Stepping into this cabin is like entering a different world compared to the rest of the Malefica. The space is surprisingly well kept, a stark contrast to the grime and disorder found elsewhere on the ship. The walls are paneled with dark wood-stained wood, polished just enough to reflect the flickering glow of an ornate brass lantern swinging gently from the ceiling. A large oaken desk dominates the center of the room, its surface scattered with charts, ink-stained quills, and weathered ledgers. A half-drank goblet of dark wine rests atop a parchment map, the deep red liquid leaving a stain over the faint outline of familiar coastlines, especially to you. Behind the desk, a high-backed chair of dark leather sits, its arms worn smooth from years of use. To the right, a massive reinforced cabinet stands against the wall, its iron locks gleaming faintly in the dim light. Beside it, a weapon rack stands empty, its contents likely adorning the owner's person. Along the far wall, a row of glass-painted windows stretches across the stern, their view offering a commanding gaze over the churning sea beyond, as you see the ship once again in motion. Heavy navy blue curtains could be drawn to block the sun or thrown open to let the ocean breeze. Right now they are open. In one corner of the cabin, a four-poster bed rests against the bulkhead, its deep velvet blankets very luxurious. A small locked chest sits at its foot, iron-banded and well-worn. In the far corner, a large chest of dark metal rests, locked by 3 thick locks of different colored metal. Near the bed, a shelf holds a curious assortment of books, trophies, and relics, some nautical, others you recognize as far more exotic. A single silver-plated mirror, lightly tarnished, hangs near the door. This is very clearly likely the captain's quarters.
It's interesting to see a captain hide below the deck. But to each his own. I always did think that Tiefling looked like a coward. Anyways, so we take a look around, perhaps see if we can find any keys to that large chest, which may hold, treasure of some kind.
Alright, so you want to make an investigation check about the room?
Yes, please.
Okay, go ahead and roll an investigation check.
20.
Okay. Looking around, there are a number of valuables in here. Namely, the map is certainly valuable and useful, and just so everyone can sort of have context, it is the same map that we saw in the intro video, and so the one I am showing right now on screen, and this is a map of the known world of Atlas. So from coast to coast. Right now, you guys, if you look sort of near Reverie in the center, you guys are probably somewhere around here, around Valentis, which is, as far as those of you who were just captured know, you were right by Valentis when you were captured, so you're probably somewhere around here. Additionally, some of the knickknacks, looking at them, you can see are likely of some value. You're not exactly sure how much they'll require closer examination. As far as keys, you do find a single iron key in the top drawer of the desk. But besides that, nothing. I mean, the triple locked chest in the corner definitely looks very suspicious. But you've only found one key.
There was another, like, battered chest, right, somewhere, if I was listening
so
correctly.
there's a battered chest at the base of the bed. There's also a reinforced iron cabinet that's almost like a wardrobe that has a lock on it that the key could potentially go to.
Okay. Does the battered chest have any visible locks on it?
It does, yes.
Okay. Could I try the key on the battered chest first?
Okay. trying the key on it, it does not fit.
All right. I'll move over to the wardrobe and see if I can open that with the key.
Okay. Taking the iron key and trying the wardrobe, the key fits perfectly. And with a click, the lock turns. And the wardrobe is now able to be opened.
So I open it up and take a look inside.
Okay, pulling it open. There is an amalgamation of weapons and armor in here, some of which is very familiar to you. There are pistols. There is leather armor. There is heavier armor. There are blades. There is a musical instrument. There's a number of component pouches. There are daggers. There are some of this is very familiar, including what looks very much like a weapon you saw Thyra wield.
Oh, this looks great. I have dearly missed you, my dear Pepperbox. Pick it up and I kiss it on the barrel and holster it at my side before looking for my armor.
Okay.
I also look behind me to see if they've entered the room. I don't feel like calling out but I'll see if they've entered the room yet.
For those of you who are unfamiliar, a pepperbox is a pistol, a 6-cylinder. I was 4 or 6-cylinder pistol.
6.
But looks. Yeah. Well, we should go ahead and just describe what Caldwell's pepperbox looks like to those who may not have a good idea of what your weapon might look like.
Picture a traditional revolver, except the barrel is actually reaching to the end of the rotating cylinder actually reaching to the end of the barrel. It will spin on every firing. It runs on black powder. It has an ornate white pearl handle, and it's definitely very well kept. Not an ounce of rust or about. And it looks like the parts are replaced regularly. Like he tinkers with it quite often.
Okay. And as you pull out your armor, Caldwell wears chainmail, right?
He does.
Okay. Yeah. So Caldwell pulls out like a heavier chained armor that he begins putting on. I'll go ahead and say so donning and doffing armor takes 10 minutes. So one by one, everyone comes in, with the exception of Scarlet, who does not need to because your stuff was never taken. Sort of starting with whispers and going around. Describe to the audience as you arm and armor yourself, what weapons you may put on your body, what sort of armor clothes you, just a brief description so they can have a good idea of exactly what your character looks like armed.
Right. So yes, Whisper does have leather armor. For her, it's very uh I would say it's pretty ornate. Um, there's a lot of like pattern work. It's probably like it looks like it was made by a skilled craftsman, so it's pretty fine. It noticeably doesn't really have any wear and tear. She's not like this is probably like her first adventure. She hasn't worn this thing out yet, but she does have it. Um, and then in terms of like weapons and whatnot, so she gets her focus back, which is a uh, functionally a quarterstaff, but flavor wise is a long rain stick that is uh, decorated, but it noticeably doesn't really match the rest of her kind of like vibe or outfit. Like it's much more like the designs are a lot more primitive. They were probably cut with like a much duller implement. Um, and then like there's some there's some like blue and red like paint and patterning on the ends leading towards the middle, which has kind of like this like water wind design. So these like swirls. And then other than that, she's got a little dagger that she like straps underneath her like puffy dancer skirt, and then a little light crossbow that she straps to her back. Um,
Okay. Perfect. What about you, Alarie?
So Alarie takes up the pace to grab her stuff. She has a crossbow, um, that she just likes to keep for the sake of it. She has a longbow, a long sword, a rapier, sorry. And then her trusty dagger that she likes to just tuck into her cloak.
Yeah, and some leather armor as well, correct?
Correct.
Probably going with her sort of dark aesthetic. I'm imagining like sort of dark dyed leather armor, probably seen a good amount of wear, uh, but it still very goes fits with the overall like dark sort of stealthy vibes that Alarie keeps. Mortarian, what about you? What as you sort of arm and armor up? What sort of weapons or armor do you take?
Quite a few things. Mortarian is grabbing lots of things out of this cupboard. First, he, caresses the whip that's already there on the side, uh, puts his leather armor on, puts his leather traveler's cloak over the top of it to sort of hide it and obscure it and still, look acceptable. He takes his two daggers, both of the scabbards, and attaches them just above his waist on the back. They're sort of hidden by his wings. He pulls out a sort of curved wooden object, which is a boomerang, which he puts into his right side of his belt. He pulls out a scimitar, which he puts into his left side of his belt. He also pulls out a quarterstaff, which he puts just sort of on a diagonal between his two wings. And finally, picks up a very large round metal object, which he attaches to his hip, left back hip, which is in fact a bear trap.
Whoa.
And last but
Gnarly.
not least, Thyra, our mistress of weapons here.
Mm,
What do you pick
mhm.
out?
I first off, there is quite a lot of strappy harnesses that I need to put on. There is one that like has a cross section on the back, which has two straps, like going just one way diagonally. That is where I pick up lovely lots of javelins. Four long silvered out javelins. They're not too fancy, but you know they work. And I would kind of pull them back and situate them into the holds of the harness on my back. Uh, because of my height, they don't really, you know, they don't really encumber me at all for movement. Just because they sit like the ends of them sit above my knees. They're not gonna encumber my movement, unlike it would on someone who is shorter. We grab a hand axe, situating that to our hip, again with another little handy dandy harness. um, we then have a we have an interesting cloak sort of looking thing. It's made out of kind of like dead sort of leaves and branches. Seems a bit cobbled together, but it seems to have some sort of it seems to be different from the rest of her garb, so there's something to it. She then puts that over kind of her shoulders, the the javelins coming out from underneath it. Kind of conceals them a little bit, but yeah, it almost comes across like a leafy cape of sorts.
Hmm.
And then
Well,
the pièce de résistance, her great axe. She picks it up with much fervor. The great axe itself has a sort of kind of like a capsule. It's sort of made in a crescent moon where the axe, blade is, and it's covered with. There's like obviously a interior which is hollow, which is actually filled with sand. Um, And that kind of just like accents the blade itself. One last thing. She grabs a pan flute and tucks that away. Tucks that away, like into her back. Back
It sounds like maybe there are some stream
Some
issues.
stream issues.
Yeah, I think there is. Hopefully it passes soon. I'm
Think-
really hoping it passes soon at this point.
I think that's on Twitch's end, unfortunately.
I think that's true. We shall just strive to move forward, and sorry once again for any technical issues for the crowd. Hopefully the VOD will be good. But let's just go ahead and move forward. So in the next 10 minutes, there is a frenzy of motion. There are straps being strapped. There are buckles being buckled. There are weapons being slung into harnesses. And by the end, you look far more deadly than you did in the beginning. Luckily, during this time, as Scarlet was keeping an eye out, nobody walked up or down. It seems like your scuffle earlier went surprisingly undetected. As we sort of those 10 minutes pass and you are duffed and doffed and you have your weapons and armor, now probably feeling much more secure in your own safety. You now have an opportunity if you guys want to look around the room or do anything else now that you are fully armed and armored.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Until this
I mean,
point,
other than the maps
nobody
on the
was.
desk, like, has anyone looked at? Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if anybody was like injured or harmed, or anything like that.
I don't think so.
I don't think so just yet.
Girl, they
That can
seem
always change.
fine. I know that you worry, but look at them. Not a spot. All right, let's focus on what's important. Looks like there's treasure over there, but also, given the state of the locks, I would assume that these important keys of different metals are keys on different persons. It looks like in order to get the treasure, we're going to have to go up on deck. What say you all?
Oh, well,
for a good
I-
fight.
it does behoove me to mention that there is a creature below.
Creature?
What kind of creature?
I don't know, I didn't see it, but there's tentacles and they have acid, maybe? I don't know. It's some. They were feeding it spoiled foods, but
Huh.
the one feeding it told me it's hungry today. It seems like they haven't been feeding it well, or if it needs meat, it hasn't been getting meat.
Did you push
Well.
him
That's my
No.
Lottie.
Oh. in? We can go back for that.
Unfortunately, I believe that if we rustle it a bit too much, it may be too loud and alert the ones upstairs. So perhaps we should deal with things up top before the monsters below. Did it seem like
yeah.
it was contained to that area?
Well, it seems like it needs to stay in the water.
Well, upstairs we're safe then. I think we can deal with that later when it comes to it. Kill
Should
some
we go
people, get
back-
some food for it. Doesn't sound
Should
like
we
a bad deal.
go back and block off that exit so that if we do end up fighting, nobody comes up?
I have an
Mm.
idea. I'm gonna walk over to the exit and start placing down the bear trap.
Oh.
Okay. So it's like a trap door. Sort of like, a ship trap door. There's like a ladder that leads up and down. So how are you going to arrange the bear trap so that it blocks this?
Are there any like crates or barrels or anything that I could use to make a funnel, like where there's only one way that they would be able to come out of that door?
Yeah, I mean, you could certainly like build a bunch of barrels around it.
Am I-
So that there's like only one clear exit.
I might do that. And if there's any like cloth or like, I mean, there would be cloth from the bedrooms and things like
Yeah.
that. Probably like one of the hammocks. Maybe I could cut down one of those.
So why don't
And
you go ahead, make me a survival check. We'll see how
Yeah.
good of a trap you can construct.
Mhm.
With that trusty bear trap, who, let's be real, nobody wants to stand into.
16 is that? Yeah, 16.
You managed to actually craft a pretty functional trap. The first thing you do is you like crowd the top of the trap door with barrels, not so that it won't open, but so that like someone coming up is sort of naturally funneled one way. And then you scatter like scraps and pieces of broken crate on the floor, sort of covering it with bits of cloth so that only a bit of the trap actually sticks out and is pretty well disguised trap. You think to fool someone unweary probably quite sufficient. You certainly don't want to step into a bear trap.
Hmm.
So yeah, I would say now this area is trapped. Certainly will work for at least whoever comes up first. Although, given the severity of the injury, the bear trap is likely to incur. Potentially, people behind them will be slowed as well.
Hmm.
Nice work.
You like my idea?
Very much, Mortarian.
I
I love
think
it.
it will be effective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you all headed up to the deck, I could probably post up down here with a crossbow, try to keep them from coming up for as long as I can. Might be able to kill a couple of them too. I'm not much of a fighter, but I can shoot a crossbow.
That's good, Derek. Garrick. Not Derek.
Yeah.
That's
The
good.
name's once again Garrick Storm. We met, as the navigator of the ship you were on. We got shipwrecked. We walked through the jungle. There
Sorry.
was an abandoned watchtower. We got captured by Lucius.
Yeah,
We've been stuck
it's
together for
the.
weeks.
I
I
actually don't know
apologize.
you
It's
three.
malnourishment. I just. Right.
Yeah.
I feel.
Scarlet.
No, Garrick. After this, I want to have a sit down conversation with you. I want to know your dreams, your hopes. I want to really know you as a person.
You know what? If we don't die during this, we can have that conversation. If you can supply me with enough whiskey to make me not remember telling you my hopes, dreams, and desires. But can we just take a moment to acknowledge that there's a fucking talking parrot?
Hello, I'm Lottie.
It's not the strangest thing that I've seen.
I honestly didn't question it.
Okay,
Though I
yeah,
wasn't
maybe.
sure if it was
I think
real
she's
or not.
delightful.
I mean,
I-
did it or did it not use magic? Or I'm just, you know what? I have no further questions. It's okay.
I
I
mean, we have a cow woman, and I'm
I.
blue, so someone's got
I
wings.
And I have
suppose
wings.
if we should ask
I'm just a
anyone,
pretty bird,
it.
a special
Yeah,
bird.
I suppose if we should ask anyone, it would be your master. I look to I look to Caldwell like very suspiciously.
What's that? I pretend like I don't know what's going on. Just, feign the ignorance.
Your bird. They're
Yes?
yours.
Can I roll insight on Caldwell?
Sure. Go ahead and make it.
Great. $19.
Caldwell, go ahead and make a persuasion or deception check based on what you want to do.
Persuasion or deception?
So, are you going to tell her the truth or are you going to lie to her?
Well,
Roll
I'm
whichever
gonna
one you're going
lie,
to do.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, roll whichever one you're going to do, and then if you exceed her check or not, we will see what she believes.
I rolled a 6.
Okay. Whatever Caldwell says, you're fairly certain he's lying to you, but go ahead, Caldwell.
Great. Okay.
Once upon a time, a very, very long time ago, I was walking on my ship, and on aboard a piece of drifting seaweed, I saw a weak looking creature. But she was quite splendid with her bright red feathers and that interesting looking medallion around her neck. And I said, well, I should take this creature in. I should house and bathe and feed. This is what a proper man should do. And I did such that. And everything has been perfect, and there has been no mistreatment. I mean, why would I even say that? There's been no problems, ever. Isn't that right, Lottie?
Meow. And I just look away.
I'm gonna give everyone else a very just sporadic look, just being like, what you think?
I stare hard at Caldwell, and I want him to know I do not fucking believe a single word he said.
Anyways,
Like,
I don't think this is the proper time. Shouldn't we go above deck and deal with these slavers before we land on Principate shores? The more time that we waste, the more problems we could have.
Sure.
Yeah, he does actually shockingly make a good point.
One moment. I'm gonna turn to you. I'm gonna turn to Scarlet. Please, if you need help, I am right here. Just blink twice.
So, over the course of, say, 6 seconds, Scarlet turns from a parrot into an owl, and she just slow blinks at you. Same coloration as the parrot, just in the
Is it
shape
2
of an owl.
times?
Yeah, she blinks twice, and then once again after that. So you don't know.
I don't know. I sort of look back at Caldwell. Okay, all right, Caldwell. I'm gonna be very frank with you. Not convincing.
Look. I agree. Caldwell's a fucking dick, and let's be real, he's sus as hell. But every fucking minute we stand here is a minute that they could realize we've escaped and try to kill us. So why don't we
this is why I want
leave?
to get to know you, Garrick. This is why you're so reasonable. I love
Why
to hear
don't
you
we
talk.
leave
Wow.
That
his
is
potential
exactly what I
imprisonment?
said.
Yeah, but you said it in a dickish way, and so nobody wants to listen to you. I'm saying it in like a real person way, so people are gonna listen. Let's leave his potential enslavement of this weird creature / bird shifting creature until after we liberate the ship, and then if we don't like him, we can tie him to the scorpion and see how far we can throw him.
I can agree with that. We are not letting this man out of our sight, though. I'm gonna help you, little buddy.
Look, whatever you want to do to him with your eyes, you just do on your personal time, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Above
Well,
deck.
I'm gonna grab this here crossbow. I'm gonna post up,
Mm.
and I'm gonna shoot anything that comes out of that hatch down there. Whether it's man, creature, tentacle monster, I'm shooting it.
Stay safe, Garrick.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you guys too. And if you see that Lucius fella, you stab him in the dick for me, okay?
This one's a
Sounds
bit
very
obsessed with
painful.
dicks, isn't he?
Well, he was kind of a dick, and I want Caldwell to have a good representation of what happens to people who treat people poorly.
Well then. I don't exactly agree with that, but I do agree that we must be off. Please. Let's not stand around any longer.
Fine.
Is there any preparations we should do before we go up? I don't think we're getting out of this without a fight.
Is there any spells I can cast beforehand?
I suggest I go first. I think I'm the bulkiness. I can take a couple hits if we need, so I don't mind taking the charge.
Please.
But
Please take
don't
all
just
the
kind
hits
of-
you want to.
I will
Just
do my
get
best to
going
keep you
steady,
healed.
please.
Yeah, I'm gonna say as a prepared action, I'm gonna get ready to cast Sanctuary on whoever I think is, in the most trouble if someone gets like cornered.
Yeah, so for something like that, like you can like because you guys are like taking the action of like going onto the deck, like if you want to like prepare a buff spell or something to like go off like before initiative starts, that's fine. I would say like any other prepared actions like attack spells and stuff that you would need to see, well, that'd be first round of combat. But like yeah, if you want to cast Sanctuary on someone,
Mhm.
that's fine.
Cool.
Okay. So, any other preparations y'all wish to make before you make your way up to the deck?
Hold a second. Is there any world where we would like to talk to them? Or should we prepare to sneak around before they notice us? And dear Alarie here with her handy dagger could get a few knocks in before they even notice us.
Dragon needs to die by the end of this. He tried to taxidermy me.
We will
Right,
figure
right.
it
I
out.
understand.
No
I
world.
understand. This is
I
not what
mean,
I'm
I will
talking
find
about.
his
That was not
taxidermy
my
instrument, and I
question.
will use him.
Can we
I don't
focus?
feel good about letting the potential birds enslaver to go up there alone to talk to the captain. I mean, hasn't he tried to literally get out of this by bribing their captain just before when you all entered the cells?
I wasn't pushing for our negotiation. I was asking which route. I don't care which way we lean. We could put a bullet between his eyes before he notices, for all I care.
But will you,
Why wouldn't I? Negotiations have broken down, but at that time, we had no bargaining power. Now that we are armed and to the teeth, I think that we do. It might be worth a conversation.
We still have no bargaining power, though. We're in the middle of an ocean on an enemy ship.
It's true. So what do you want to do
Coldwell.
is my question.
Coldwell
to
says
save the
that he can
creature.
sail it.
This is true, as well as Garrick.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone
say
have
we
any
make bodies.
opinions?
I say we make bodies for the
Trying to
creature
think.
underneath.
Bodies it is, then. Then I do believe that we, in terms of going out first, our dear elf should go and sneak her little sneaky ways to get behind someone before they see all of us.
Yeah, I'm still disguised as Vi. So I can go up and try to position myself as well.
All right, as long as they don't question you too hardly, I assume.
I mean, no one seemed to find me too unusual in the lower deck. So I would hope it would be much the same for the upper deck.
Well, best of luck to you then.
All right.
Well, if
Ready
this
for
Right,
round two?
Yes.
Shall we then?
I see no problem with this plan.
Nothing will
Let
ever
us-
go wrong. Don't worry. It's going to go off without a hitch.
Well then, my dear Whisper. After you, ladies first, of course.
Can I
Literally
guidance
in this
whisper?
case.
Gentlemen.
Yes, I am such a gentleman.
Okay. Yeah, you can certainly cast Guidance and Whisper. Guidance is, I believe, for ability checks in the next minute. You can add 1d4.
Yeah.
All right, so the
Right.
plan, just to step back for a second, the plan is you're gonna send Whisper disguised, followed by Alarie, sorry, not disguised but stealth, onto the open deck of the ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the
Then,
plan.
Okay.
Yeah, followed by-
I just,
Followed by.
and then you guys are gonna spill out and try to take over the
Um,
ship.
Yes.
I
Okay.
yeah.
Wait, sorry.
Are there
what was
any
that, Rhea?
amendments or changes to that plan you want to make
I
before
would
we
say
do
we are
this?
gonna like. I think it's makes sense. Even I'm talking about that we would just leave the people, me, Mortarian for Caldwell, will like wait a bit, and also Scarlett. Actually, Scarlett, are you staying with us? I assume you're staying with Caldwell.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
My,
I think it's good enough to assume that we wouldn't just follow afterwards.
Okay. All right.
might I
So
suggest that we keep some of them alive?
For your best shot.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, if we don't have to kill everybody, I'd prefer
The
not to
better.
kill everybody.
We will most certainly try.
Hmm.
As long as Dragon dies, I do not care who lives.
Oh yeah, no,
Right,
he can go. He can go.
So-
You've made your position
Oh.
clear.
Mhm.
all right.
Mhm.
Whisper, you are the first one to emerge out onto the deck. I need you to make a deception check as you come out, because these are individuals that know the person you are pretending to be very well, and indeed that person is ordered to guard the prisoners. So as you emerge and move to your place on deck, just go ahead and make a generalized deception check, and we'll see how efficient you are at sort of pretending.
Oh, okay. I have my fingers crossed. Oh,
Me
please
too.
don't fuck me on this. Please don't fuck me on this. Oh my god. Okay. Whew.
Move forward, right?
Oh, 27.
Okay. As we move to the deck of the Malefica. As you emerge, the Malefica rocks gently beneath your feet, its long, narrow frame slicing through the waves with a practiced ease despite the wear etched into its timbers. On the fine spring day, as the sun shines from far overhead, you think it's maybe about 2 or 3 o'clock, just an hour or two since you've been captured. The Malefica is built for speed, although it bears the scars of hard use. You still see the bones of a good ship beneath. The blackened hull, streaked with salt and spray, shows signs of repeated repairs, some haphazard, some meticulous. Patches of mismatched wood reinforce weak points where the seams are visible. They hold relatively firm against the water's relentless assault. The masts stand tall but weathered, their surfaces marked with splinters and cracks. The rigging is tangled in places, knotted hurriedly where ropes have frayed or snapped. The sails hang in faded shades of yellow and gray, patched where time and battle has torn them. But they do still catch the wind, as the ship is moving at a good pace. At the prow, the figurehead looms ahead, a faceless iron mask that you saw when the ship came to you the first time, its hollow eyes fixed upon the distant horizons. Beneath it, the ship's name, Malefica, is scrawled in jagged black letters across the hull. The deck beneath your feet is solid but worn, planks slightly warped from sun and salt. The air carries the scent of sweat, damp wood, and the faint tang of rust. Near the bow, a single ballista sits, its frame worn but functional. One iron-bolted arrow stacked neatly on a nearby rack. At the stern, a swiveling scorpion is fixed in place, its joints stiff with rust. The deck is relatively empty, though not absolutely so. Lucius and Dagon, stand on the quarterdeck near the helm, speaking quietly. The wheel next to them lashed to keep the course. Behind them at the stern, a young orcish woman in a thoroughbred cloak works at a makeshift table, working on something blocked from your view, her back to you as she seems focused on her task. A lean deckhand scrambles up the ratlines midship, his bare feet gripping the ropes as he hauls himself into a tangled web of rigging. He works above, tying a thick knotted rope around a failing yardarm. Near the bow, a scrawny dwarven woman stumbles across the deck, arms full of small wooden casks, moving gingerly to keep her balance amidst the tilting of the deck. Every few paces, she shifts the weight of the barrels, muttering curses as she makes her way across the ship towards what looks like a small closet. And as you now see it, let me show you the battle map. So, most of your friends are still down below. However, you have emerged
In the
from
water.
right here.
Mm.
As you can see,
Solid.
this is the woman sort of walking across. This is the pirate in the rigging. Dragon and Lucius are right by the wheel, and then there's a sort of orcish woman behind them. So, um, as you- it looks like nobody immediately pays you attention. You get a look, but Dragon and Lucius seem deep in conversation. This woman in the back seems focused on her task, and both the other pirates seem busy and focused. So you have a little bit of time. As this is happening, Alarie, go ahead and make a stealth check. So Whisper, where do you want to position yourself on this battlefield?
Hmm.
Keeping in
I
mind that your
think
companions will emerge from right here.
from right there. Okay. Hmm. What do I want to do? I'm thinking, okay, because I was worried I wouldn't. I was worried I wouldn't be able to affect enough people with this, but since there doesn't seem to be a ton of people on board, I think it might be okay. Um, so what I might try to do is I would have to get within a 60-foot range of Lucius. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
Lucius,
definitely within a 60-foot
Jagan.
range.
Great. Um, and then uh, I think maybe whenever everyone bursts up, I think I might want to use calm emotions
Okay.
on that little group of three
Okay. So why
to
don't you
keep them
go
from joining
ahead?
the fight too fast.
Yeah, go ahead and position yourself. I would say like
Okay.
anywhere sort of on like nowhere too close to here because you're definitely getting looks from Lucius and Dragon, so you probably want to look busy. But you can
Yeah.
position yourself anywhere else on the ship.
Okay.
Alarie, um, you stealth up behind Whisper. You have a very limited amount of time before someone sees you.
Right.
So, where do you wish to hide yourself?
Currently, I would most likely hide myself right around here where these barrels are.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. Once again, you can't be too long out here before someone sees you, but everyone is sort of engaged in their task, and so you do have a little bit of time. Okay. So as you guys get in position, the plan is for the other four to sort of burst up and start combat, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So Whisper, as you sort of approach, you can see Lucius and Dragon are sort of talking. Dragon is pointing at a map. The wheel is lashed, and so but looking around, you guys are on the open ocean. There is no land in sight. You are far into the ocean at this point.
Mm.
It's the middle of the day, and you've just gotten into position when Thyra in the lead, the rest of your group bursts from this hatch. And with that, I would like everyone to please roll initiative.
Yay. Oh my god, I'm
As
exciting.
as the hatch bursts open and the prisoners erupt, everyone immediately turns their attention towards the group, beginning to go towards arms and armor.
Okay. I got a 23. I forgot to click myself, but I got a nat 20. So
You're at 23.
17.
Okay.
Also,
I
mine
got an
decided not.
8.
Mine
Mhm.
We got an
decided not to
11.
care if I
Yeah.
click.
if you clicked yourself, it's would you get Mortarian?
17.
Okay. Okay. The pirates got an 11. The let's see, Dragon got a 23. I forgot to click. Morgra got a 1, natural 1.
No.
So there's some justice in the world. And Lucius got an 11. Okay, so as this combat begins, Whispers, as you go to cast the spell, you can already see Dragon uh, pulling a long bow off his back and shifting, seemingly the quickest to attack. So you guys can go at the same time. So
Right.
why don't you go ahead and go first, and then he will go.
Okay.
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 So they need to make a DC 14 Charisma save, or what?
Or so you attempt to suppress strong emotions in a group of people. Each humanoid within a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose within range must make a charisma saving throw. A creature can choose to fail the saving throw if it wishes. If a creature fails its saving throw, choose one of the following effects. So you can suppress any effect causing a target be charmed or frightened. When a spell ends, the suppressed effect resumes, provided that its duration has not expired in the meantime. Alternatively, this is the thing that I want to do, you can make a target indifferent about the creatures of your choice that it is hostile towards. If this indifference ends, if the target is attacked or harmed by a spell, or if it witnesses any of its friends being harmed, when the spell ends, the creature becomes hostile again, unless the DM rules otherwise. So,
Okay. So
yeah.
all three of these people are going to make charisma saves, and your save is 14.
Yes. So
Okay.
hopefully it's
Let's
enough.
see. Dragon will fail, and that will happen after he goes. Morgana will succeed,
Okay.
and Lucius will fail. Okay,
Whew.
so they're both calmed. However, before he does, Dragon does indeed get a turn. As your spell is going off, you see Dragon ripping 5 arrows out from the quiver. And as he sort of aims, he puts them all to the bow. And as his muscles begin to slacken as he calms, he releases it, and arrows fly up. I need everyone in sort of this cluster right here to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Can we say I throw off his aim because his arm relaxes a little too much?
No,
That's fine. It's worth a shot.
Nice.
yeah, he
Sorry,
technically
y'all.
goes at this. It's like as
Okay.
you are like casting your spell, this goes off, and then as it
Right.
sort of hits, he sort of droops the bow down. Okay,
Cool.
20.
Mortarian, Scarlet,
Sweet.
and Caldwell. Uh, of note, since you are a barbarian, Rhea,
Hmm?
I'm sorry,
Hmm.
Thyra, I believe you get advantage on dexterity saves that you can see as part of your second level ability.
Mm,
So you can go ahead and roll that with
I-
advantage.
Okay, chill, we'll do.
So just roll it again.
Okay, 20.
Okay.
Thank you.
So all of you save as the arrows fly up and then seem to split and split again, and a rain of arrows and arrow spray comes down. You will all take half of 17 damage. That's 9 damage each as arrows slam into you as you emerge from the hole in the ground. And then yeah, he is calmed, so he doesn't do anything else. Okay. Whispers, do you wish to move or do anything after you cast your spell?
Um, what else can I do? Can I reach? Well, So I've already used my action, so it would have to be a bonus action,
A
correct?
bonus action or movement, yes. And remember, you cannot
Okay.
use a bonus action to cast a spell because you already casted a level action.
Right.
Yeah, and your 20-foot radius have gotten all these people.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, I'm gonna scoot a little further away from this pirate so that they don't jump down on me. Uh, so we're gonna scoot 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We'll put myself like over. No, that's too close to that pirate. Damn it.
So this pirate is up in the rigging, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll stay put then. I'll stay put.
Okay. Alarie, you're up. And
Right.
Mortarian on deck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I still have my stealth, correct? So that means I can perform a sneak attack.
You do still have your stealth, yes. But you would want to get, I mean, I don't know, I can't remember if your daggers are 30 or 60. But yes, you do still have your stealth.
Okay. I would like to do a sneak attack on the pirate to my right currently.
This one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you see this woman is still like holding, this is the Dwarven woman, she's still like holding all of her like all these barrels, and she's just like watch these four people pop out next to her. She just looks very confused. That's not her turn yet.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll against her.
Okay.
You see, she's wearing like leather armor, although it doesn't look too fine. She's got what looks like a sickle and a crossbow on her.
Okay. That is a 7.
Okay, please roll to hit first. So yeah, roll the d20 to hit. So click the, it's gonna like be like +7 or +4 or something, and then we'll roll damage after we see if it hits or not.
Oh, I see. Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
That would be a 21.
Okay. A 21 will indeed hit as you're attacking with your psychic daggers, correct?
Correct.
So a psychic blade just appears as you chuck it at her, and it slams to the back of her shoulder, causing her to drop a number of the barrels. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. That is
Okay.
a 14.
Okay, and that is 14 damage. Okay, I'm just making sure that's with your sneak attack. No, so 14 damage is your sneak attack. No, okay, so 14 damage total. Okay. So you watch as the dagger sinks into the shoulder, and she drops a number of it, and the dagger just and disappears. You watch as the blood begins to drip as the dagger has pierced the leather armor. Do you want to go ahead and make a bonus action attack, or do you want to use that for something else?
I would also like to attack as my bonus action.
Okay, go ahead and throw another dagger.
Okay. That is a 9.
Okay, 9 psychic damage. Very nice. Okay, another dagger. Oh wait, you have to roll attack. You have to make an attack roll again.
Attack roll again? Okay.
Yeah, because the first one hit. The second one will hit again with a 17 for 9 points of psychic damage. So the second dagger, as you throw it, slams into her thigh, and once again just disappears, and just blood just drips down it after. As this pirate definitely knows you guys are hostile, it definitely is not happy now. Okay, do you want to move or anything? Everyone can see you now because you're no longer stealthed.
Right. I'm gonna stay where I am.
Okay. Good enough. All right, Mortarian, Lucius on deck. By the way, since both of these guys saw someone get attacked, they are no longer calmed.
Hmm.
Not very nice.
Right. So this guy here.
Yeah, this is like a dwarven. This is the dwarven pirate woman who was carrying all the crates.
Ah, yes, yes. Well, is she what does she look like? Does she look worse for wear, or like is she still looking like she's in the fight?
I mean, she's still up. Like she hasn't even pulled out her weapon yet. I mean, she's not like dying yet.
Okay.
She has like two kind of small dagger wounds, but otherwise looks okay. I mean, I would say she's like bloodied.
Right. Well, one more question, or two more questions technically. This banister here is,
Mhm.
I assume, the same height as the other banister.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how high relatively would you say that is?
I would say about 5 or 6 feet.
Okay, awesome. I am going to. I can move into an ally space, can't I?
No, because you're a medium creature, so you can't. You can move through Scarlet. So technically, Scarlet is on Caldwell's shoulder, so you could
Right.
move like this way because you're not really moving through an ally space. You're sort of like scooching between Thyra and the
Yeah, that's what I was
banister.
thinking.
Yeah.
Is move there. 5, 10, 15. Oop, just clicked the wrong thing. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And with my whip, I would like to make an attack on this dwarven lady.
Okay. Yeah. Easy enough. I'm gonna say she has half cover because you're
Cover?
attacking
Yeah,
her
that's
from
fine.
below.
That's fine.
But yeah, go ahead and make a roll. It's only +2 to your AC.
Right. Why is this not letting me roll?
Also,
Okay.
just for everyone's awareness, we're just gonna do one round of combat, and then we'll pick it up here next time.
That just
So we're gonna run maybe a little bit long, but shouldn't be too overtime.
rolled the
Um,
damage as well. I don't know why,
yeah,
but 16.
yeah, a 16 will hit. Did you want to roll damage? Or
Awesome.
did you want to pull her?
No, I'd like to pull her.
Okay,
I'd like to pull her towards me over the
okay, yeah,
banister.
easy enough. So you like reach out, you like grab like her hand as she's going towards a weapon, and you pull her over the side of the railing. She falls. I'm gonna go ahead and give her 1d6 falling damage because of the way she fell. She takes 6 points of falling damage. As she is pulled over
Would
the
she
banister.
be knocked prone at all?
Let's go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw to see if she's knocked prone. She rolls an 18, so she does manage to actually land mostly on her feet. But she like rolls an ankle and like goes down to one knee.
Hmm.
But no, unfortunately not prone. Although that was a good pull.
And I think that's all I can do
So
this
you
turn. Actually,
could make a
as a
bonus attack.
free action, I'd like to draw my scimitar in
Yeah,
my left
I
hand.
think for all intents and purposes, given that you were prepared for this fight, I'll say that you could have already had your scimitar out.
Right.
And you could so you because you took dual weapon fighting, you can take an attack as a bonus action with your light weapon scimitar, if you wish.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to do so.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and as you stab at her with the scimitar, go ahead and roll that. Remember, you don't get your proficiency bonus
Yeah.
for the second attack, but go ahead and make that, and we'll just minus out the proficiency if it's close.
Indeed. Why is it not letting me roll this? There we go.
Okay.
What's that? Minus
Yeah, it's not gonna matter.
5.
It's my your proficiency bonus is 5. Should be 3,
Yeah.
I think.
3?
Yeah, your
Oh, sorry, it's
bonus
3.
is
It's 3.
Yeah.
It is 3.
Yeah.
Minus 3. My
So
bad.
that will hit. Yeah, she's not heavily armored enough for that to miss. So the scimitar slices across the chest. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right. Seven.
Okay. Yeah, you slash across her chest, and she's beginning to look rough. As the blood is dripping down, she still even hasn't even pulled out a weapon. Doesn't really understand or know what's going on. But she has been pulled. She has been stabbed by psychic blades. She has no idea what's going on, and she does not like that. Okay. All right. Now, it is Lucius's turn, unless you wish to move, Mortarian.
I'm out of movement.
Okay. Lucius's turn. Caldwell, you're going to be on deck because you have a higher dex than the pirates. So Lucius, sort of seeing everything that's going on, hit with this spell, sort of comes out and goes, "You just had to make this hard, didn't you? Fine. Your corpses will adorn the Rao Ocean then." And as you watch, his body begins to flex and change. You watch his fur sprouts from his tiefling form, his face elongating and fangs sprouting, till he has turned into perhaps a more true form, that of a were-tiger.
Ooh.
You watch as he runs across the deck. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Getting up right to you, Whisper.
Damn it. Okay.
You watch as he pulls out a scimitar in one hand, a claw in the other, and begins to strike towards you. That's going to the first hit is going to be a 10 to hit with the claw.
Great. Okay, misses.
Okay,
Whew.
the second is a 7 to hit with the scimitar. Damn.
Dodging and weaving. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Okay, yeah, that was two terrible rolls. That was a 5 and a 2. So as he strikes out, the claw like whistles by your face, and you can see the claw is like the size of a dinner plate, with like thick black nails on the end that are 2 or 3 inches long, that just screech through the air past you, and the scimitar whirls in, but you manage to dodge both of them. You
I'm
can
like,
see
take me to dinner first. Ah!
you can see the muscles have elongated, and like the captain's coat has like partially ripped as the fur is punching out of it. Okay.